two, 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Hey,
How are you?
yo, my guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, there was plans to be on here a little bit earlier, but life be lifing sometimes.
Yes, sir.
But nonetheless,
life be lifing.
Life be lifing.
Life be lifing. Fun. That's what my computer guy told me. He said life is fun. And ever since he said that, I said, you know what? That is the best way to look at everything. Life is fun.
How do you take that, Mr. Willie B, Ichiban Don, my good friend, my good sir? How do you take it? Let's start there.
Yeah.
I love the fact we're not starting with like the traditional "Hello, ladies and gentlemen."
Right.
How do you take a quote like that when you hear something like that? How do you interpret it? There's a million different ways to interpret that.
Well, you gotta look at it like this: when we watch a movie, and we see the emotions that the character goes through, it's entertaining.
Yeah.
Why can't we see our own shit the same way?
Yeah. Okay. You lift the mic up just a little bit.
Let it be.
Yeah.
So I won't be.
Uh-huh.
But I just think that we should see it that way. Like, if we could look at somebody else's life in a movie, like, granted it's a fictional character. Sometimes it might not be. It might be a documentary. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that means that person went through some shit. Pursuit of Happiness. We love that movie.
Yeah.
We love the Pursuit of Happiness. But that man really went through that shit.
Yeah.
But we were entertained. How can we not be entertained by our own movie?
That's important.
You know?
And I wonder.
That's how I see it.
Whenever I'm going to see movies, I feel like every time I go to see a movie, I take a piece of that movie or something about the movie, especially if it was impactful, with me. And I'm like, there's a reason I was sitting here for 2 hours. There's a reason I decided to go see this movie. And I feel like they end up becoming pieces of your DNA, pieces of who you are. You ever get that feeling?
Yeah, 1,000%. Especially Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah, you want to take the shot before we get started?
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, welcome to Music and Life.
My guy, Curtis.
This is my guest.
Yeah.
This is my friend. Like, I was talking to him.
Nigga.
I'm going to go ahead and take this toast first. Shout out to.
I know you weren't finna take that whole shit
Oh,
down.
hell no. I'm going to sip that. But that was a good little shot of whatnot. Yeah. What's going on, HGC, Larry O? We'll give some time. I know that you guys are used to me doing the trailer first and used to a certain rollout of things, but that's not how life is working today, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And it's well worth the wait because this is a gentleman here that I've known
My guy.
from my earliest years pursuing the music industry. And I had a certain idea about the kind of personalities based upon the movies you see, based upon the whispers in the ear. And then the funniest thing happens is like in life. You meet somebody like you.
Damn, that's crazy.
You meet somebody like you that is like, it's more than just being the exception to the rule.
Crazy.
It's showing you that it's not a one type of personality that exists in any space.
Yeah.
And that success is available to different type of people. Yeah. And I remember you the first person that I was in LA, and I remember being used to the LA thing of if nobody knows you, you kind of have to like give them hints of, you rock with so and so, you do it without giving all the credits. But I was always of the, they didn't care necessarily what you did until they had to care.
Yeah.
You walked up to me the first time I met you at the Cellar in Long Beach. I had already known who the hell you was.
Yeah.
I was already a fan.
Nice.
And you said, my guy, that Snick at Night? You talking to me, sir?
Yeah, man. I fuck with niggas. If I fuck with your shit, I fuck with you. That's it. Like,
but you weren't afraid to give flowers, bro. And that was such
Why should I be afraid to give somebody flowers? That's crazy.
I don't know, but I feel like, and maybe you got perspective on this that's different, but I've always felt like when I was vulnerable like that with folks, there's a few different ways it was received.
No, they still do it to this
saying?
day. Like, people still do it to this day. It's just that I'm confident in myself enough to not hold a compliment back.
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
that's huge.
giving you a compliment ain't gonna make me less. So it's like,
right.
why hold the compliment? That's just how I see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's stupid. Like, it's not stupid. People have a way they perceive things. So I can't say it's stupid. So I retract.
Yeah.
That's growth. There you go.
It's great. Look at that.
Words become things, right? So yeah, man. I just hope that people have a better self like self-esteem. They develop better self-esteem to be able to do that more to people, because I feel like once that happens, the world will be a much better place as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Where do you think that comes from for you? Like who instills that?
Oh, my father instilled that in me, bro.
We talking about him earlier.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
What? A lot of my mannerisms and ethics and manners come from, at least as a man, comes from him.
That's dope.
You know what I'm saying? He's a real thorough, solid East Coast nigga. You know what I'm saying? So it's, and plus I wasn't raised by, no offense to parents that were raised in LA, but that's why niggas like you and a lot of people always said like I carry myself a certain way. It's kind of not of the of the environment, I suppose, but yeah, I was raised by a woman from the South and a man from the East Coast.
Man.
So off top, and not to mention I'm the only person in my whole family from Los Angeles.
That's crazy.
Both sides. But
when I think of you, the first thought I get from you, especially when it comes to the first time I was ever addressed as my guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like my boy. Like you had it was a certain New York energy to you.
Everybody says that.
The first time I met you, and I was like, there was one person I ever met that was actually from New York, and I went to high school with him. And he was a student that came halfway through the semester. Yeah. Coolest dude I ever met. And he had like the what's the East Coast with the sticks they had in the mouth?
Fucking the chew sticks.
The chew sticks. I'd never seen nobody have, like I seen like the Wu-Tang videos and all that stuff.
How long was this, 90s?
This is bro. This is like early 2000s.
Yeah, for sure, early 2000s.
Yeah. This is like velour suits and all.
Velour shot. Nigga Willie Esco suits and shit. Yeah, nigga. That's definitely the true stick era. That's when the nigga Jizzle was doing that shit all the time.
Yeah. That was that era. And so he came in there and my guy was he was a dreadhead, and I'd never forget.
Nigga had dreads.
He had dreads. He had
that's from the Lost Boys.
You know how you look at a meme? For real. You look at a meme and they say like the New York starter pack.
Yeah, nigga look like the
everything.
New York. Yo,
the
Timbs.
He had the flapped out Timbs. You know what I'm talking about?
This nigga had the big shorts. Nigga had the Howard University jersey.
Them blue jeans. He did do them blue jeans. I didn't even think about that, but he did. Yeah. He did the whole. He was dressing like he was still in New York, even though it was 75-degree weather.
I was dressing like that in high school.
Really?
I was dressing like that in high school.
Man. So
I got a picture with this sick ass Yankees jacket. They didn't, bro. Like, yeah, fam. I had Puerto Rican Air Force Ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, dog.
Oh no, you wasn't playing.
Nah,
you wasn't playing,
bro. That's fam. Like, Black. As long as you know me, I've talked like this, right? Everybody that asked my father, he was like, "Has he always talked like that?" My dad be like, "Yeah, he's always talked like
that."
Who I am. That's just how he talks. Yeah, dog, it's crazy. And dog, like, I just went to New York in September. When room full of mirrors, repping the homies. Yeah. Shout out to Mirror.
We gonna talk about all that, man. Yeah.
So we went out there for our group member Lyric Michelle. She did a performance for Afro Punk.
Okay.
And we was up there supporting her, like performing behind her and stuff.
Yeah.
And so yeah, dog. So it was my first time being back. I was frequenting New York a lot at one point. Like,
there was a point where
people thought I
every
moved.
time I would hit you one day and you like, oh, I'm about the crib, and I'm like, what crib?
Yeah, exactly. Nah, facts. Because I remember, you remember, Curtis, was like 2-3 years in a row. I was going like every 3 months.
Yes, you were. Yes, you
were. A lot of niggas really, they would run into me in certain places. They'd be like, "Oh, you still out here?" Mm-hmm. I'm like, "Yeah, what the fuck?" Like, niggas really thought I moved, right? But no, the point is, so that was my first time being back in New York since 2016.
Man.
So for me, you know how it felt. Like, I was like,
and like,
I was on one.
And the way you talk about move, I remember I called you when I was trying to figure out how to maneuver what streets, and I was trying to figure out what borough should I go to. Like, how can I get the real? And I feel like to this day, shout out to my assistant here, T Sketch. I feel like to this day, I'll never get the New York experience until I go with you, or until I meet a day that you out there.
Black, when you went, I knew how to get around on the subways and the whole shit. Right?
Yeah.
It's crazy, bro.
Like,
I don't even understand. I can't even explain it to you, bro.
It was overwhelming, and I'm adventurous. Yeah. I like to adventure, but it was overwhelming for somebody who is like, I don't know the lay of the land.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, I know certain colors. Like, I look like I can low key be a few different races.
Yeah.
I can't be walking around with no black and gold.
Like you could be Puerto Rican.
You feel? You see what I'm getting at, bro? I kid you not. We was on tour. We was on tour with Murs, and I walked across the it was on tour. It was with Murs at a video shoot. And he's doing media, whatever. I went across the street from this hotel in Times Square, and I kid you not, I ordered French toast and some other shit.
Right.
The most New Yorker voice ever. They count out my order. Yeah. The dude was like, "Hey, who the fuck ordered French toast?" I was like,
right.
That was me, and I walked out of there. But I'm like, the energy, I never forget. Me and Murs was walking down the street, and a dude walked past him. Definitely like a Puerto Rican dude, and he was like, "Niggas still wear Jordans?" I was like, "He's talking
hilarious.
to you?" He was like, "That's just that energy out here."
That's the energy, dog. They don't give a fuck, and they don't even. You know what's crazy? They don't even mean no malice by it.
Yeah,
that's the
part that took me some. It took me a second getting used to.
Dog. That's just how they see it, so they gonna say it. Yeah.
You said something though that I think was really interesting, and I never thought about this. It's funny how much I quote you, bro, and I want to give people context, man. If they're just introduced to you for the first time. I'm guaranteeing you're not introduced to this man for the first time. You've heard music, and you've been touched by many of beats, many of music, and we're gonna talk about that. But this is my real life friend.
This is my guy right here, dog. This is the homie.
You pulled up to the house, and I was like, dog, I haven't seen my friend.
I was honored to meet your son, man. I mean, and your wife, of course. Finally, like, you know, we've always talked about her and how great she is to you, you know. And that was finally. I know you thought I met her at the release party, but
your mind was elsewhere. That was release party. That was you and Daylight's release party. There was a lot of things going on that night.
And that was technically my first night, like kind of like spinning for him too.
Yeah. Oh, you were spinning that night too. That's right.
I mean, I wasn't spinning. He's a spinner. I'm not a spinner. I was just playing songs. Yeah. So, but I was using his trigger. You know what I mean? So
look. You call it what you want to. You call it what you want to. I'm adding that to the resume. I'm a DIY.
I don't think I'm gonna add that to.
I'm not gonna call myself a DJ, but I'm gonna say I spun something one time.
Yeah, right.
I did. I remember doing Low End Theory. I felt so out of place, bro. I was in here like,
that's crazy.
These are real DJs. I was like, what am I doing here? I got my controller, and I never forget that night Will.i.am was there.
Crazy.
And I had met Will.i.am 2 times before during Dim Mac Thursdays and at the CineSpace. Remember CineSpace?
Of course, yeah.
And I don't know if you remembered or whatever. And he's like, that's your equipment?
Wow.
And I was like, yeah. And I was like, he was like, you have a good set? I was like, yeah.
That nigga asked
this line of questioning that got me a little bit. This line of questioning got me a little bit uncomfortable right now, Mr. Will.i.am.
Hilarious, dog.
But man, like, yeah, but it's
that nigga sized you up.
He did. And the first time I met him, it's crazy. The first time I met him at Dim Mac Tuesdays, I dapped him up like, yo, because this is the height of Black Eyed Peas. I dapped him up. But I had just got through dancing. It's a younger Curtis.
Yeah.
I'm drenched. I didn't even realize it.
Right.
And this nigga was
Club
Curtis, right? He was like Hollywood and Vine Curtis. He was like
Hollywood and Vine Curtis.
That nigga said, yuck.
Peasant.
If you don't get this broke ass sweat off me.
Peasant.
That's the energy he had too. But
he said,
it smells like brute. Man, okay, so give these people some context. I know this is probably the least favorite part of the conversation because I know you as a human being, and I know that you don't rest your value and who you are and your confidence off of who you worked with. Yeah. But for the people who don't know any better, I've told the records, but I want them to hear from you. And then I got a twist on this question. Yeah. I want to know what record for you that you still running back today.
Oh, I think I can easily answer that.
Okay.
Yeah. Shit. My name is Ichiban Don. I used to. Well, no, I have a counterpart. His name is Willie B.
Mm-hmm. Is it popping out?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know what's going on, but
probably just push it back a little bit. I don't know what's going on.
It picked back up though. It's cool.
Yeah, sorry about that.
But I have a homie named Willie B, who's a producer.
Oh, I know him. Okay.
Yeah. I have a homie named Willie B, who's a producer, and a lot of the times when he was producing those records, I had a lot of hands-on experience. Being around him, so I was there for a lot of those records.
Yeah. I see like a collaborative situation is what you're saying. Okay.
With the collaboration energy.
Some would say y'all look alike almost, huh?
Bro, it's almost a yin and yang.
That's crazy.
It's wild. I was at his mom's crib all the time. To the point it was like I felt like I lived there. You know what I mean?
Do you feel like sometimes when you're away from him, you're still with
Oh, all the time. Because
crazy.
even when I'm rapping,
Yeah.
I feel like I still hear his producer ear telling me like to switch certain words. Like, hey, that don't sound right, bro. Do that. Like, do it this way.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So let's talk about the credits, and because I'm itching to talk about something, especially because I run this record back to this day. Every day I go in the gym, I run this record back.
What
and you
record
produce.
you talking about?
We're not gonna talk about that.
Okay,
yet.
so
we gotta talk about your credits first.
Okay,
we're gonna get to that though for sure.
All right. So the records that I've contributed to with my dog Willie B.
Yeah, your dog Willie B. Right.
Is off top. Ignorance is Bliss.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely one of the records that
Kendrick Lamar, Ignorance is
one of
Bliss,
the more pivotal records. Ignorance is Bliss. Where we met, Ab-Soul album.
Oh man, that was Long Term 2 project.
Long Term 2, dog.
You had some monsters on that.
What was that? Song Cry and
Did you do Mayday?
And I did Mayday. But who did Rush? Tay? Tay did Rush?
Was that a
Rush?
Tay beat?
Who did Rush?
That's a good question. Who did Rush?
Because Rush was my shit.
When I rode through the city, you give me a rush.
Yeah, Rush was like the Carson anthem for a minute, dog.
No, that was. I was there.
Yeah.
I was there for 2 moments.
Shout out to Solo.
Man,
that's our boy,
Solo,
man.
bro,
That's our boy, man.
There
That's
were
my nigga right
2 moments I will never forget being in Carson that were music related that I had nothing to do with.
Yeah.
When Solo did Rush.
Yeah.
Remember the video, because I was in one of the scenes that did not make it. It was a backyard. I want to say he was either Ramses was shooting it.
Ramsey.
Ramsey was shooting it. And I want to say it was
Notch.
like Top Notch. I want to say it was either one of Top's houses or it was a Young Mag or somebody. It was somebody in there. But I never forget Young Magic. It might have been Young Magic, but I remember being out there. He had the lights and everything set up. That song was a special moment. But you know what else was a special moment? And it wasn't necessarily just a Carson moment because it was the next neighboring city. When K-Dot became Kendrick Lamar.
1,000%.
And he made the Kendrick Lamar with the Erykah Badu sample flip. I remember going to Quiznos. Shout out Quiznos on Carson.
Yeah, facts.
going to work.
He was working, no, right?
Yeah,
I was
pumping
Daylight
gas
worked there too, right? Daylight worked at the Quiznos.
We gonna get to
with
all
you.
of that. Oh man, yeah. So shout out your guy, my guy Daylight. But
nigga Daylight. Hey.
And I'm glad you brought that up because it's like it's these subtle reminders that we speak so casually about these things.
Yeah.
That's just normal life. And you said something about 45 minutes ago that really intrigued me about you just have an understanding that comes with the territory.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of people, and I feel like a lot of people don't grasp onto that. Can you kind of share that with these people here?
As far as what part comes with the territory?
So the idea of we have access to a lot of people that most people will never meet.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm sure we can run through your.
That's not a normal thing. That's what you.
It's not a normal thing, right? But you highlighted that to remind me, like to almost give myself my roses. 100%. But you said something also in contrast to that I thought was super dope. In that the reason why you don't get like too caught up in the hype is because I guess there's a certain expectation that comes along with. You're in the spot. You're in the play. You're supposed to be here.
Yeah, you can't get geeked off of that. Like, it's like you get put like this, bro. You get a job. A person gets a job. Yeah, even if it's their dream career, you could be geeked the first couple weeks. There's nothing wrong with that. Geeked the first month. Geeked the first year.
Yeah.
But after that, it's like, how long you gonna be geeked? Like, if this is what you do, just do it.
Yeah.
It got to get old to a certain extent.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Now, not to the point of. Now, here's the thing. Now, gaining inspiration, that's a totally different concept.
Right.
We're not talking about staying inspired and, whatever. But we're talking about the people that look towards the accolades as they're either their validation
the one thing
or
to
their
define
fuel.
them.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
right.
And I just think that's a really, really, really shaky foundation to set your motivation on.
Yeah.
If you're gonna consider that a muse, it's a little because that is subjective. That's the reason why I say that, because there's people that's had awards taken away from them and shit like that,
and show you how much it wasn't really yours to own, right?
And it's all based off of public opinion. It's based off of awards and shit like that. Is based off of other people's opinions of you,
which can change in any given notice, right?
1,000%. So yeah, you can give me this award for this, but if I make a mistake and it go public, y'all might that war ain't even gonna matter.
Yeah, and
Look, you know what I mean? Like, look at Kels. Like, I'm not saying that, you know, to have sympathy or not to have sympathy for Kels, but he, you know, he's a human that did some human shit. It might be more human, you know, it might be more than anybody else's preference, you know, especially, you know, mine's as well, whatever. But you don't know what you don't know what nobody's dealing with, and I don't think that his musical legacy should be
ultimately defined by moments.
Yeah, he's still a talented person.
Right.
Now, granted, you ain't gotta rock with his music. Like, I get it, but especially because of context. You know what I mean? Like,
now you asking who these songs dedicated to, right?
It's tricky, but don't take away his talent. Like, he still did it. Like, y'all still let him get it off, and y'all let him get it off after he like already did certain shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like y'all still kind of like enabled it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, but. And it's not to say, oh, like, you know, he should have kept going or like they should have kept letting him go. Right. But I just think that if we are going to like judge people, especially entertainers, if we're going to judge entertainers off of their work, we just need to just literally leave it there. Yeah. Now we're going to judge them off of their personality. We need to just literally leave it there. Because a lot of these people that we grew up on and we thought were great people, they kind of fucked up on the low. Yeah, and
you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like watching your favorite TV show growing up and thinking that everything was as polished as what it is on the TV, and then you come to find out these are folks, real human beings with real addictions, with real
1000%
quirks in their and I feel like I got a crash course in that my first few years in the industry, and realizing like when you finally meet the person that I don't want to say you just idolize, but you got this vision of what it would be like, who they would be like. There were certain rappers I won't even name or whatnot, but like there were certain ones that I met, and I'm just like, oh, you really do have human things going on that make you that take you off the pedestal that I unfairly put you on. So let me ask you this. With that being said, we live in a time now where a lot of people feel empowered. They have a voice, which is a pro and a con and everything. How do you feel about cancel culture? Do you think it's a real thing?
Stupid.
And explain, because I see you as somebody that's a very, very you look at things from a very fair standpoint. I've always known you as somebody who can see things from multiple points of view.
Yeah, totally.
How do you feel about the
whole cancel culture?
Yeah, the whole cancel culture.
I think cancel culture is interesting because to an extent it's like, you know, you give the power to the fans. Yeah. But unfortunately, in the time we're in now, this is not like the early 90s or the 80s or the 70s where the fan dynamic was much more genuine than it is now.
In what ways you think?
Fans were really into the artists or basketball player, whoever, whatever celebrity. Fans were really into them for what they offered as an entertainer, and they really loved
go out
it
to support the things you wanted. Yeah,
exactly. So now it's tricky because there's people that cancel you just because they're mad because you made it, and you don't even gotta know them.
All they gotta do is have the ability to pull up tweets.
Because we're in the age now where anybody can be famous. So the way that a nigga that's just a normal nigga sees it is like, yo, I could be famous like that nigga. What make that nigga so special? Yeah. Oh, they cancel that nigga? Let me join the train.
Yeah.
Fuck that nigga.
Because I could take that position.
Yeah, 1000%.
Literally by pulling up some
1000%.
And that was something that we had in a conversation. And I want to address that first because like you know, I'm the most excited about the fact that you and I can pick up, like we've had like years ain't even passed by, but there was a period of time, bro, where like I was operating in a way that I don't want to put words in your mouth because I want to absolutely get your point of view on it, but I was operating in a way in the name of my independence, in the name of being a DIYer, in the name of whatever it was that I was campaigning for, right? In which I started to speak about my not so positive experience in the music industry, and I didn't realize until you were the first person to actually have a conversation with me and tell me, here's some other perspective that maybe you haven't peeped. But I'm not the only one that feels this way. And I want to address that first because it's crazy. Like,
you're a real nigga, bro.
Bro, and bro, when I say I love you, like these are the kind of conversations we can have when you truly do look at somebody. Like, I don't look at everybody that I met in this industry as somebody that after we stop doing music, I don't even want to know who you are.
Yeah,
you.
Nah, you my nigga,
I'm gonna always be like, man, what Willie on? Like, what's Willie on? Like, what's my guy on? Yeah. But I think that in the midst of it, I did even like skits, and I remember we brought up the skit of people know a person I played called a Sus Bunny, right? And it was supposed to be imitating a lot of these folks really that I was seeing at these iStandard events that I went to, where folks would ask questions. And Willie,
shout out to J Hatch.
look, shout out to J Hatch. No disrespect, because it ain't his fault, but those questions that so you get somebody in the audience that ain't paid money. They're here at this event. They're excited. They finally get to talk to the producer that is like the person they look up to, and then they say, yo, man, how do I copyright my beats? Yeah. And you get another type of industry producer to start rubbing their hands together, and they like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they getting their bullshit ready, and they like, you know what I'm saying? You just got to believe in God, you feel me? And just like follow the course. Next question. And they stand there like their question got answered. And I remember being on a panel with these folks like, there ain't no way y'all getting away with this shit.
Nah, for sure.
But those were the people that I was addressing. But I think in the midst of it, there were folks that were mutual friends that tagged you and like, oh, is this you supposed to be making fun of a yeah, that's a whole other loaded thing. But are you making fun of a Willie B? And I'm like, I never looked at, because I still
they want you to make fun.
They wanted me. They wanted to be that, because it's like I think we represent a different way, a different human aspect that not everybody embodies in the quote unquote industry, and that's how it was when I was still pursuing within it. And I'm looking at you today, and it's like that is literally your superpower, is being who you are. I never would have even thought about this is the insult to not even just you, but the homie like, oh gosh, or Nabi, and who are currently in it. Like, I did a release party where I'm rapping these certain lyrics about like, you know, the industry, and I'm looking at Nabi, and I'm like, it has different context now, because when I wrote it, I wasn't thinking about that. You were the first person, Willie, to get on the phone with me, because I hit you up. I was like, Willie, we haven't talked in a long time, bro. And you were like,
and I'm always down to talk.
And
that's one thing, not everybody is that I love that we've always been able to do. And the great part about this is, like, to an extent, like, us doing this podcast is kind of like we're solidifying a lot for each other.
What do you mean?
What I mean is, if anybody want to think anything about us, our history and the way we've conducted ourselves through our history, through ups and downs, is the proof of our character. You get what I'm saying? And us speaking very transparent, being very transparent about our journey as homies. Anybody that's ever wanted to say anything different, it kind of annihilates all of that. You get what I'm saying?
And you've been on here multiple times, and it's so crazy. I was watching through old interviews.
Always willing to talk.
Always willing to talk.
The question is, are you willing to take?
Listen.
See, the mic ain't even ready for that.
It's the wire, and that's
the mic ain't even ready for that.
The mic ain't ready for the answer. It's all good.
The question is, are you ready for the honesty? Because the honesty comes from a very, very constructive place. I'm never saying anything to condescend a person and whatever decisions they're deciding to do in those moments.
So
everybody's human.
Give me some perspective. So we had this conversation, and it wasn't an argument. It was more so me hearing what nobody else was willing to tell me about myself.
And that's always the problem with most people. That's a problem I have with society in general.
Right.
Why are niggas friends telling them the shit they need to tell them? You just fucking enabling these niggas and having these niggas move a certain way because it makes you comfortable, because you want to decide to move like a slime ball. Like, so I don't want to move like a slime ball. So if you around me, I'm gonna tell you what you need to do.
Exactly.
If you don't want to hear it, then you must not be a nigga I need to kick it. Because I'm solid, and I like to pride myself on being a solid nigga.
Okay, I don't know what is going on with that.
What
in the technology is going on today? Of course, it only happens here with that.
Frequency crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, they don't. It's too much. It's too much energy for that. They wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, buddy.
So in your opinion, Willie, what were you seeing? And I'm be as transparent. You can be as honest with all of this stuff as necessary. What were you seeing that kind of felt like that's not the Curtis that I know? I know this is not an interview about me, but it's more so
because
to
we
open
know
up
each
the
other
conversation.
personally. and I know your character on an average.
Yeah.
And you could just, I'm going to be honest, I'm a person that loves to look in eyes. And the reason why is because I feel the eyes tell you a lot about what
everything
a person's going through.
Yeah.
And you could just tell you was going through a lot of shit. Yeah. But I know you personally, and that's because I've opened conversations, or rather we've opened conversations with each other.
Right.
That were so personal where we know where each other stand as men in certain areas of life.
Right. These
were areas where we hadn't tapped in a while.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
But also as a man, that I've also learned to do is understand when somebody's possibly going through something.
Yeah.
To just step back and let that person figure it out.
That's huge. That's huge.
And that's the key. And
yeah, you didn't attack. You didn't chastise. You didn't say, yo, what you on? You said
you got to let them figure it out first, and then we can have a talk about it. Then I can tell you how I perceived it.
Yeah.
And this is why we're here.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So yeah. And for me, what I really want to address about just humans in general, humans have an issue with possession.
What do you mean,
Curtis? If I wanted to really get in my feelings about whatever you was talking about, and even though it wasn't even directed at me,
right?
That's my ego think it's possession. You're supposed to be so into me that shit you talking about has to do with me, not necessarily.
Right. And a lot of
how much do you
like that?
How egotistical are you to believe that everything is you're taking everything personal?
It's a shot at me.
Nobody gives a fuck, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my stance, and I say that from a standpoint of me being that way at one point. And understanding how much people really don't give a fuck.
Me, myself, too. I'm going to add myself. I'll say, watch that light behind you. I don't want that light to fall upon you. But I know it's limited space here. I make the most I can out of the space. But, bro, I love you to death for being so honest with me, because it made me call, oh, gosh, after I caught the phone with you.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it's one of them things where you realize, like, because you said something that was important. The energy is important, right?
Yeah,
whatever 100%. The energy, whatever the intent that you have behind it, and folks in here know these are
intentions is important. Shout out to Lauren London. She said that shit on that that's one of the greatest interviews I've ever saw, and that's why I mentioned it.
Yeah,
because she says so much shit on there, Curtis.
Yeah,
so much shit, and of course it's not surprising. Nip.
Right.
To a certain type of thinking, man.
Like-minded
you know
folks.
What I'm saying?
Yeah, of course. The certain
she
energy.
was on that shit. Like, she was talking that shit to the point where, like, you can even tell, like, Angie was like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, she wasn't. It was a new concept to her. You get what I mean? Yeah. So it's just a different way of seeing life in general, and intentions are everything.
And I've always, and I thought that I thought it was an understanding, and I think this is where it's important that I had to take accountability for the fact that, when you don't have an opportunity to see what's going on in somebody's life, and you don't have an opportunity to see what's driving them at that moment in time, it's hard to understand or even give a shit about what the context is.
Yeah.
And I think I got to a place where I made my exit from the music industry, right?
Yeah.
But I made my exit.
But you kind of did it.
What you mean?
You kind of didn't make an exit? Like,
you
still get a lot off. Like,
I mean, not placements, and you know what I'm saying. Like, that's
fuck the placements. No offense. I mean, everybody getting placements.
That's what I mean when I say, like, in the industry, like, you're in a studio session.
The hamster wheel is what you mean.
I mean, you call it a I didn't call it a hamster. See, look. See, I ain't gonna never say that because I be up here thinking about like
hamster wheel. Sorry, producers, but don't get caught up in that.
What do you mean when you say it's a hamster wheel?
Because there's a lot. Don't chase placements, man. Your career's not gonna grow like that. Like, unless you bred an artist from the top, then that's different. Like. Even with how Soundwave Soundwave with Kendrick, that makes sense. Like, he built with Kendrick, so I get that. You get what I mean? But like, nah, just don't be chasing placements just from different artists. That shit is a headache. Be like,
the reason I
you
bring
gotta
that
build
up
with niggas.
The reason I bring it up is because for a lot of people who may be just like, they're not necessarily the DIYers in this community, and they're used to me talking a certain way where it's like, I echo the same thing. I'm like, if you're always waiting on somebody else to tell you when you have the opportunity to get paid, or you're always like, you're not figuring out how to like create your own situation. Don't have to be independent, but just creating something that you can now leverage by working with somebody, then you're going to always be at somebody else's mercy.
Yeah.
And I preach that, but I think a lot of them see that and they're like, okay, so that means anti-industry. And what I had to have was a conversation with you to recognize that we don't love our significant others because somebody else hates their wife.
1000%.
Right?
1000%.
I don't love what I love because you love it. I love it because I love it. And I think that when it comes to being independent, when it comes to becoming pro-independence,
yes, sir.
A lot of folks mix that together with their anti-ness with the industry and their horror stories, and rightfully so for some people.
Why?
But why is it possession?
They want. It's the want.
Yeah.
I want you to feel me. Me. Feel what I'm going through.
There's a lot of that now, bro.
Yo, niggas need to stop that shit, bro.
Yeah.
That shit is corny and that shit is fucking... It's pitiful to me. I think a person needs to understand that nobody owes you anything.
Yeah.
No, your parents don't owe you anything.
Yeah.
Like, no human being owes you anything. If anybody's done anything for you, be appreciative of it, and that's it.
Not everybody can, man. And
but
it's
even
so
if
crazy.
They don't,
yeah,
be appreciative of it, and that's it. You know why I say that?
Why is that?
Because in times where I couldn't get the help, I figured it out, bro.
That's true. It's so true.
I allowed myself to understand how to get it on my own.
Yeah.
So it's a blessing either way, bro. And people should start seeing it that way and not taking it so personal.
Yeah. What perception? Because how long have you been? Would you say you've been in this industry in general? How many years would you say? If you had to
I want to say
you're always in the present, so you
right.
had to spitball it.
I want to say 2006 because that's when I met Chords. That's when I started doing the
shout out to Chords. Yeah,
shout out to Sensei.
Bro,
Sensei
that's
Chords.
the first person I ever seen. I went to a session. Shout out Silas took me to the session.
I'm the one that brought Silas over there.
I thought.
Shout out to Silas.
Shout out Silas. I thought that Kanye was lying when he said he had 120 tracks for a hip hop song. I said you be an extra.
Chords had like 900, right?
This man showed me 15 kicks. This man showed me 15 kicks with a straight face and said, "Yeah, I can show you why every single one of those need to be there."
He's unreal.
And he knows
unreal.
String arrangements, and he's doing this he's doing this for a song that when it comes out, it doesn't sound like it's that much going on, but every element counts because he knows what it's doing.
That nigga, it's so when you heard his shit, you understood where all the random sounds come from.
Yeah,
it's all of it is. It's like that nigga is one of the biggest inspirations of my sound.
As weird as it might sound, I don't think anybody probably ever said it like this, but seeing the sessions in a studio with Chords helped me to understand what I respect about the genius of Dre.
Right.
Because the genius of Dre,
right.
I have my affinity because I'm from the West Coast.
Yeah, of course.
And I love the music. We came
biased.
up with bias, right?
Dr. Dre,
but when other people see from the East Coast or they see from like the Midwest and they're like, nah, like I see the minimalism and I see the all of that stuff. I don't see necessarily with the same men. However they describe it. That's what I'm saying.
But
I'm like, give me your lens.
That's what I'm saying. We don't see it.
We don't see it. But when I saw Chords and I saw the layout of it, I was like, okay, this is more than just hard and right and left handed.
Yeah.
It's so much more that goes into it. So shout out to Chords. But let me ask you this. So as someone has been in, I don't know if you said the amount of years that you have been in here, but whatever amount of years.
Since 2006.
2006. Yeah. Okay. So what is that? 17,
my nigga.
You're looking at young. You're a young 17 years in this. How you
feel great.
Age in this, bro?
I do feel great, bro. I don't feel like I'm winded whatsoever. I feel like I'm just starting. It's weird.
Before I ask a question about that, I want to ask the question I was leading up to this, which is, shout out Epic. I had a conversation with my guy, Epic the Don, and he was telling me, he was like,
my nigga Trevor Noah's twin brother. Dog, every time I see Trevor Noah, I be like, yo, this nigga Epic, dog. This nigga Epic, dog.
If you watching, look.
Yo, Epic, my nigga. That's the homie. First of all, we met cracking jokes on each other, so I know he ain't tripping.
Yeah. No, I know. But he told me something when he saw the same thing that you saw. He was like, I'm starting to see a little bit more of an anti-industry tonality to what you're doing. And he was like, I think you want to not only be careful with it, not because of the repercussion, but because the people that you're trying to help, you will in turn kind of justify their bitterness or whatever issues they have. He said, but instead, if you taught people how to protect themselves.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A lot of people will make the decision that, you know what, I'd rather stay independent than have to do all that growing in such a short period of time. So when I have conversations with somebody like you that is a seasoned vet in this, that is a respected name, that is somebody that still to this day, like I bring your name up and I'm like, that's really my friend though. Like
crazy.
that's really my friend
you know what's
though.
so crazy about that, Curtis? Like, bro, Punch said the same shit, and it's whatever spirit God put in me, it just will not allow me to feed into it. It just doesn't allow me to feed into it, Curtis. I don't see it that way. But I know people see it that way. So the thing that I've had to learn to like do recently is to accept that people see me that way. It's a hard one. Yeah, it's a bugged out, little dynamic. But bro.
No, you're good, because I feel like that's part of what makes people enjoy being around you and your presence is that it's almost like this, you know who you are.
We're all people first, man. We all started as babies.
Like, you know who you are, but you don't let that be the thing that you lead with.
No, man. We all started as babies. We all started as babies, bro. Yeah. That's it.
So the question I was leading to before was more so about what is something that, I'm sure there's many things that you've learned being in this industry that you could not have anticipated for somebody walking into this naked. And
pause.
They are super pause, right? Not butt ass naked, but walking into this with no protection. Right, That's all. I can't say nothing. I forget you. I forget you here. I forget you here. I can't even say nothing. Right. For somebody walking into this industry and not knowing shit.
Right.
What is something that you had an expectation of walking into this industry, and then once you spent your time and got that experience, you were like, it ain't none of that.
Oh, I just thought niggas was gonna be cool and professional. That's what I thought. That was literally the only thing. And once I realized that, I said, "Oh, fuck these niggas." That's what happened.
Look, Salas. Shout out to my former manager. Salas told me one time he got his way of explaining things, and some people can't deal with it. I knew it.
I love Salas.
It's Salas' way of doing it, right?
I can't lie. Yeah. This is one thing I always said about Salas. You know what I respect about Salas more than 90% of the niggas in the game? Salas will tell you what the fuck it is with him from the get-go.
Yes.
And if you don't listen,
that's
your fault. That's your fault. He told
you what's going to happen.
I love people like that. Because you can't.
This is saying, okay, so for those that don't
say, you know what I mean?
For those that don't know, these are one of those names that they're not always in the front of the they're not always in the front facing mascots of businesses, but they are the foundation for a lot of people who go to him for mentorship, tutelage,
myself included. Right? I've got a lot of jewels from that nigga Salas.
He told me two things I never forget. One of them, I almost said a funny one first.
I was
having a moment.
He's a funny nigga for
Willie,
sure.
I was having a moment, bro.
Nigga.
I was having a moment. We was dealing with a situation and somebody's being difficult, and I was just like, man, I just don't understand why people came. He said, go eat a veggie burger and sit down. He told me, a grown man, go eat a veggie burger and sit down, first of all, Curtis. Now we can proceed to the conversation. That's just his sense of humor.
That nigga is a retard, bro. I'm not gonna hold you, bro. Me and this nigga Salas, bro, used to roll around.
Yeah.
And this nigga's like little quick ones.
Yeah. Because sometimes it'll be so fast you don't even know you're getting hit.
Tears. Yeah. Like, it's not even like
he'll just shoot it off. Yeah.
Oh my God. And it'd be the most subtlest statement.
So he told me this, Willie. He said, let me get this straight. You know, he like to make sure he repeat back to what you said to him. He said, let me get this straight. So you're concerned about people not being professional in the music industry.
Yeah.
He said, it sounds like to me you picked the wrong profession.
Facts.
If you're looking for professionalism first.
He says, you know what's one of the greatest quotes? You know what's one of the greatest quotes this nigga Salas ever said, dog? This nigga said, this is the music business, not the homie business.
That is the Salas quote.
That is the greatest.
It is.
Listen, that is the greatest fucking quote that nigga ever. He said, bro, if you meet a homie, you're blessed.
Damn. Well, I'm blessed. I'm talking to one right now. And this wasn't supposed to happen the way. That's why when we had that conversation, I'm glad we're able to talk about that here live, because it helped me to get into where you're currently at, not just on a producer level. We're going to talk producer stuff. Like you were telling me about your process with sampling, and I was like, what you do with Edison? So we're gonna talk about that. But what I think
I didn't even get into the credits. Let me just say the credits.
Please shoot those off because people already in here naming like my favorite one is the one you did with J. Cole, and so they know.
I think that might be the favorite. I think that and Rigor Mortis are definitely the two favorites. Like,
I didn't even say you mine. But go ahead.
Okay. So I'm gonna run down the list. Okay, Kendrick Lamar, Rigor Mortis, Kendrick Lamar, Ignorance is Bliss, Kendrick Lamar. Oh shit. Mm-hmm. Kendrick Lamar, Poor Man's Dreams. What else? Kendrick Lamar. What's the other one? Opposites Attract. Absol, Mayday, Absol. Fuck, it was Mayday and Soul Cry.
Soul Cry.
I'm like literally going chronological.
Yeah.
order.
No, that's good.
Schoolboy Q, Kamikaze. J Rock. Oh my goodness. Like 4 on the first album.
Yeah. What was the Wale joint?
The Wale joint was Fafa We.
Bro.
Yeah, Fafa We.
And what I love about it is that, it's hard sometimes. Like, this is when I was like around a lot of the folks in the industry. Yeah. The homies that get credits, and it's like, I'm happy for you, but that don't sound like Yo B.
That's crazy.
And I'm like concerned about you. But you,
yeah.
They picked Willie B type beats.
Yeah. They pick intricate sounds.
They let you do you.
Yeah, I love it. I'm not gonna lie. At first, I used to have an issue with that because when I was in the hamster wheel, it was difficult to get those records off because I know, shout out to our nigga Zach, my nigga Zaki. Yeah, you know what I mean? The boy them Zach there, Huffy. You know what I mean? But nah, them niggas, my nigga Zach told me years ago, even before I worked with Kendrick and TDE and all them niggas, he was like, yo, bro, I'm letting you know. He said, your beats are really good. Yeah. But they're very intricate. So it's going to take a certain type of artist to work with your records. He said, don't let it discourage you. Just keep working until that artist comes.
Wow.
That nigga told me. He's a wise out. He's a wise ass.
Prophet advice.
Oh, no,
right
he's
there.
a wise
prophetic.
Nigga. He's a wise. He's like the wise out of our little our friend circle.
That's the kind of person. See, Willie, but see, that's the kind of person, and I feel like everybody goes their journey for a reason. That's the kind of person that probably could have kept me.
Oh, that's my
going
nigga. I
in
love
pursuit.
that nigga. Yeah, he's my nigga, bro. I love.
But I didn't have them kind of folks around me, bro.
I
feel it feels like when I was in it or in the hamster wheel, as you call it. Yeah. I was doing the best impersonation I could of the people that were around me, or I was doing what they told me would be the best version of me.
I mean, I think I got caught up in that a little bit.
Yeah.
In certain aspects of my life too. Yeah.
Well, I felt like nothing. Okay, you remember the B showcase we did? It was a brick to your face event. It was at the pop up spot. It was in the middle, like downtown LA.
Yes, sir.
I was a crazy day. Everybody was on that bill.
That was a great day.
That was a crazy bill, right?
That was a great day.
That was a day where I recognized, like, amongst all these classic names that were on this bill, I still had questions. Like, one story I always talk about is there was a studio session one time where you were in it, Javante. Javante, you know what I'm saying? It's just killing it still. Yeah, Kendrick's in there, Soundwave's in there, Soul's in there, J. Cole, J. Rock's in there. I think Schoolboy's Q was in and out. And I don't think I've ever told you this. I sat in the room and I was like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Imposter syndrome, right?
Yes. I can't hold a candle to none of these because I listened to your beats and I was like, that's what I was trying to do. I'm not going to hold you. I was like, at the time, I was like, that's what I was trying to do. That's what it's supposed to sound like. Same thing when I heard Tay. Tay was my...
Tay was crazy.
Bro, Tay was the first... People don't know. Tay Beast. Maybe you don't even know that. Tay Beast and the homie Starlab.
Starlab.
You know Starlab. Yeah.
That
was the first label I ever signed to.
Crazy.
Was Rockstar ENT. Gotcha. It was them. They were the owners. It was the Ones. It was Jago.
Remember the Ones.
Remember the Ones? The Ones was fire. Yeah. Oh my god.
I remember the Ones. Yeah.
It's like a West Coast Young Guns. Mm-hmm. But being around Tay like that showed me, okay, this is where I want to get to. Yeah. But then I would do my impersonation of it, and then the industry or those who would listen would say the things that your friend was saying without the positive spin of it's doing too much, you're overproducing. I don't know who would run a rap on this. It sounds like crump beats. It sounds like this. It sounds like that. And it was like what they were getting was a watered down version because I didn't know who I was. And then every time I put up another beat, I started hating myself just a little bit more because the ones that they did like, I was like, that don't feel like growth. I don't feel like I'm supposed to be here.
Because you was doing what they wanted to do. Yeah. You know, No, it's a thin line. It's a really thin line. Like,
how do you travel that thin line, bro?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel that happened with 2 records that I did. I feel the 2 records that is Oxymoron Q.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, classic.
And Freddie Gibbs Lay It Down.
Mm.
Those were my 2 best impersonations of a Young Chop beat, but how Willie B would do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never would even
Young
guess that
Chop
name.
was totally
Yeah.
the inspiration. Nigga, I was listening to a lot of Chief Keef at that time when I made those records.
All right, can we
a lot of Chief Keef?
Can we okay, I know we gonna inevitably bring this back to life.
Yeah.
But can we geek out on some production shit real quick? Because we're in a room full of producers. Shout out, except for homie Noah James. Shout out Noah James. He said we still got footage of that night. Shout out to homie Noah.
He in there?
Yeah, he's in here.
Yeah,
he's
my
in here.
nigga Noah, that's the homie. Yeah, that's
he
the
popped
homie.
in right now. So
hey, that nigga Noah crazy. Dog. You see
bro.
you see what him and his girl did the other day, dog?
On the chair. He said this the best ride in the place. Shout out Noah. He's like this the best ride here.
Yo, that nigga Noah James is a funny ass nigga, dog.
He gonna be that no matter what age he is. That inspires me to keep my young energy about me.
Yeah,
but
facts.
Let's geek out on some production, bro. Look, I didn't tell you my favorite joint from you.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind when I hear some of the backstory of how the beat is. But Willie,
It's interesting. Which one is this?
Ignorance is bliss. And for me, like I feel very special to be like one of the only ones before. I mean, of course, there were people at these events, but you would do like DJ producer sets, and you would play the instrumentals that nobody had ever heard except for Kendrick.
Yeah.
And I remember listening to the elements that I couldn't hear over the lyrics because he's doing his double time. He's filling in a lot of the gaps. I remember sitting here listening to these elements of this beat, and I'm like, where the fuck is your timing? And how does it all sound so like it's supposed to be like the
chords fucked me up, and that's how that beat happened.
Chords
fucked me up, bro. Like chords almost
because you know what I'm talking about when I say the timing, not just the swing of the drums,
chords
but
almost just everything.
The bells and when you look at a beat, look, I'm saying right now when
that was a chord. That beat was made the first night, at the day after the first night I met Chords.
Wow,
Chords fucked my brain up.
But how did that?
But in a good way.
How when I listen to Chords, like it's a very polished sound. It doesn't. I don't necessarily hear I hear the musician timing, but it feels like everything is very deliberate. When I listen to what you're doing, like I get the same goosebumps as I listen to Dilla. I got Dilla up here for a reason right now. Like I hear the swing in it, and I'm like,
Dilla. Shout out to Mon Deuce and shout out to Ella J.
Fam, you find the snare at the very last grid that it could possibly be at, right at like the grid's right here, and you get away with murder. Like
I just really wanted to try some other shit. I'm not gonna hold you, bro. Like this is exactly what happened. Dog. Okay, precisely what happened. Shout out to my nigga Rob. My nigga Rob had picked me up. I didn't have a car at that time.
Okay,
I was doing the beat battles at the Pit. Shout out to Sticks.
Pit, yeah.
Shout out to Sticks.
Recently,
a lot of people got their notoriety off of the Pit.
Yeah.
You know, Sticks is definitely a nigga who helped a lot of LA niggas get on.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just say
he's still helping the city out in more ways
than
one now.
In even more effective ways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So basically, you know, Sticks was my nigga from, bro, we just talked the other day too. And he was like, my nigga, do you realize like we known each other since like 01?
That's nice.
And I was like, yo, you right, nigga. Like he was like, nigga, I was literally around when you started making beats.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're right. Like me and Sticks knew each other from rapping.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, so you know, he did the event, and at the time I was working at Walmart, he called me like, yo, bro, like you still making beats? I know you still making beats, nigga. I'm doing this event called The Pit, nigga. I'm signing Tyrese, nigga. Shit cracking, nigga. You need to come up here and show these niggas what it is. And that's my guy, because he always believed in me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, for sure, nigga, I'm gonna come up there. So I went one day after work. I was at Walmart, got off at 9, changed my clothes.
Bro, you was at Walmart, I was at Quiznos, and Daylight was inviting me to go.
You know what's crazy? That nigga Daylight, this is what makes it worse. So after he worked with you at Quiznos.
I'm so mad.
Are you ready for this?
I'm
after
ready.
he worked with you at Quiznos, he worked at Walmart right after that. So every job listen, bro. Every job that I damn near had, he worked the same job, dog. Bro, he worked at Fry's too. This is what made it worse.
Fry's Electronics?
In Manhattan Beach. This is what makes it worse. After the fam.
If I go go to Fry's Electronics and I go and look for some gigabytes and I see both you niggas here.
Nigga,
Do you know? This is what I'm talking about, Willie. This is not normal.
Listen,
this
man,
ain't
the
normal.
grind is crazy. Listen,
the grind is crazy.
Grind is crazy. So listen, nigga, I was on that register, nigga. I got fired.
What?
I got fired.
Okay.
Nigga. You know what I'm saying? Bro, I asked that nigga, I said, yo, when did you start working there? He said, I'll start working there like April. I said, nigga, I got fired in February.
Oh, so you replacing folks. Okay.
He said, 05? I said, nigga, 05, bro. We literally started working like the same damn, bro, first of all, that story is crazy. Me and that nigga's parallel life is wild.
You were meant to come and cross paths. Bro, it was going to happen no matter what.
Too many
whether somebody was rapping or making beats or not, something's going to happen.
Bro, Linwood and Watts is literally a train track away from each other. Bro, it's really creepy.
Happen.
Like, it's pretty creepy. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
But not in a good way.
Yeah.
I hope I didn't digress from what the
No, you good. So I wanted to geek out on some producer related stuff because it's mostly producers in here, and obviously because of the nature of my content, they love to hear about the motivation and hear about the things that go along with
bliss.
it.
So
but
this is what
I
happened.
wanted to geek out on some production shit with you.
Ignorance is bliss.
Talk to me.
This is what
How did
happens.
chords inspire that?
Okay, so I do a beat battle. I smash this beat. This one particular one, I smash.
What does Willie B sound like at this point in time?
Willie B sounds very unmixed.
Yeah.
A lot of air in the back. Of
like vinyl or like just lack of
definitely not vinyl.
Okay, it was a purposeful.
Lack of vinyl. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I do this beat battle and I smashed this. This was one I killed.
Yeah.
And Chords is there, and I already heard about Chords. I was already kind of a fan because I heard this record by this group from Pasadena named Bella Rose at that time.
Okay.
It was some song called "Give It to Me," and the beat was amazing.
Just went crazy.
The beat was amazing. Just like you said, the sounds. I was like, oh, I'd never heard anything like that at that time. Like somebody just putting all these random sounds, and it's like, oh shit, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
That was the first time I ever came across some shit like that. So imagine I heard that one beat, and I was already like, oh, this nigga's incredible.
That's the one. Yeah.
So I meet this nigga. Yo, bro, you're incredible, bro. Here's my number, dog. Let's link up, bro. I'm working on a lot of stuff, bro. I'm working with all kind of artists now, dog. I'm like, oh, nigga, let's go.
Just say less. I'm here.
Say less.
I'm there.
Say less. Let's fucking
What
go,
day you want me
nigga.
to show up?
So, nigga, we linked literally the next week.
Wow.
My boy Rob, he excited. He just wanted, nigga, that's tight, nigga. You fucking record, nigga, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So he come pick me up, nigga. We go to the nigga house. I put a beat CD of like 20 beats together, right?
Beat CD. That take me back.
Right.
Good old CDR.
So nigga, we go to his house.
Yeah.
Lance and Lamar is there from 1500.
Wow.
That's the first time I met them niggas.
It's a younger version at this point.
Oh yeah,
super
these
young,
niggas
right?
these is like
were they already known as?
They were bubbling.
Okay.
Like this is when Fauntleroy was coming to the pit.
Oh, we talking about the pit area. You're right.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm
zapped back in that time.
I'm
so mad I never went out.
The ears coming up.
I'm so mad I never went out to the pit.
But
bro.
It was an amazing time.
I was terrible.
It was an
amazing
amazing
not
time.
go.
It was amazing.
And Daylight invited me a few times. Like, man, you should roll down.
You should have definitely went because he was one of the guys up there.
Yeah, but you got to for context sake. And I always joke about this with him.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is when Daylight was trolling before trolling was trolling.
Daylight's a funny nigga.
This nigga walked in. I kid you not. I tell the story all the time. He walked into Quiznos one day. I'm in Carson, California. He's working at Quiznos. This is before he has a face tat or anything. It's just he's just funny dude. He walks in there limping and he's late. And I'm like, I'm the assistant manager, but I'm cool as hell. I'm like, yo, everything good, bro? He's like, man, I was like 24-hour fitness. You know it's about to be some bull. He said, I was at a 24-hour fitness. He's like, man, I kicked the basketball off the rim.
Hey, yo.
My shit ain't been the same since.
Hey, yo.
And he clocked in and walked past me and didn't explain. He didn't laugh. He didn't explain nothing. He knew trolling before trolling was trolling.
Nah, for sure.
But one thing that you could not deny was then that man started to put, like, I never forget the first time I saw his I didn't know he rapped the way he rapped.
Oh, yeah.
Until I saw that battle at Lamert in the early, I think it was the Grind Time era. Remember seeing that at the Chaos Center. And I said, that's Daylight. That's that Daylight. He was making beats at that time. He was coming to my grandma's crib. He was making beats there too at some point. But
he started to make beats again.
That's good.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a happy place for
They're pretty
him.
good, bro. Like, there's not even like it's bad. Like, it's good.
It's wild, and I would love to have him up here to have a conversation because I feel like there's a lot of overlappage.
Yeah, I think he would love to do this, man.
Man, the fact that he does the video editing and the production, everything, so many of this stuff. It's almost like, and I view you the same way in that as creatives, it's hard to pit us into one place.
Totally.
The moment somebody says, "Oh, Willie B's a sample-based producer," I started seeing showcases where you were pulling out a whole trap set. Like, nigga, now what?
I had to.
And then the moment that they were like, "Okay, he's riding a trap wave," you pull back out and was like, "No, now I'm giving you soul records." It's almost like you're showing people I can outrun you.
Don't put me.
I can jog you. I can jog with you.
Don't put me in a box.
Yeah. Why is that important to you not to be in a box?
Peeve.
Yeah.
Because you don't got nobody figured out. I'm not running around here figuring people out. I'm just letting people be.
Yeah.
Yes, you should, because everybody's a free human being by birthright.
And you're in the gang. I mean, that's a bigger part. The folks who make those critiques are the people who are they have the time.
Yeah, bingo.
This you see what this area is right now is he's doing this, and I go through that too. Where they're like, "Oh, he was inspired by." It's like, are you?
You have enough time to analyze it that much, then what are you doing with your time?
Are you a competitor, or are you being Morgan Freeman and narrating this whole situation?
1,000%.
Because there's certain things that go along with it. I'm trying to figure it out because it'll help me have context.
Yeah.
But so when it comes to your sound, though, one thing I gotta say, no matter what beats, and we're listening to beats in the background that were produced by you, one thing that cannot be denied is it's almost like what I compare to comedic timing. Right? Certain jokes can be told by two different people.
Yeah.
But when you imagine Cat Williams' voice versus, a Kevin Hart, there's different timings that execute certain things. I listen to your beats and feel the same way. Ignorance is bliss. When I'm listening to that in the gym, like, I almost zone out of the lyrics because I'm just thinking about, like, I don't know if I'm working too much, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, but you make me feel like my beats are not free enough. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing because it pushes me.
I'm really glad you said that word because that actually explains what happened after I met Chords. So after I met 1500, they bounced. I was already like, oh shit, like they 1500.
Yeah.
Chords said, oh, play your beats. I played all 20.
Off the B CD.
I'm doing something, bro. I had made like 7 fresh ones.
Yeah. Oh, for that CD. That's that era. Yeah, I remember that last minute burn. Yeah.
Bro, I was in front of my computer for like all day. So check it. So nigga, I play all the 20. He said, "Oh yeah, bro, I'm gonna play you some stuff right now that I'm working on."
Yeah.
Oh my god. This nigga played. Bro, I felt like I went outer space. I feel like I was just like, what the fuck is this? But also like I was enjoying it.
Right.
But at the same time, it was such a realization of how much I needed to work. How much longer I needed to go. Like, you got a long way to go. Bro, on the way home, I told this story so many times, but I feel like the story should be told, like, because everybody has times where they feel this way. I'm on the way home. My nigga Robert's driving me back to the crib. And at that time, like, it was like 3, 4 in the morning. Like, we was over that nigga crib, like,
oh, y'all was
vibing. Yeah. I wanted to soak that shit up, too, because I'm looking at this nigga like, yo, my nigga, I've never heard anybody make music like this. This is unreal.
Yeah.
Right? So I tell my nigga Rob, I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna make beats no more, dog.
You said that. Wow.
Verbatim.
Wow.
I think I'm done.
It was that impactful.
Oh, it's out of here.
Night.
It was like, what? Like, it really made me question myself. That's the only producer that ever made me question myself. The only one. Nobody else has ever made me feel that way.
With the perspective of the experience you had now and the empathy I know that you have for that younger version of you, what do you think was the biggest thing?
It was just new. But that's why Ignorance is Bliss was made, because when I heard how he made music, it opened me up to understanding how free my mind could be creatively.
That's a bar.
Because that nigga gave no fucks. You heard it.
Yeah.
He gave no fucks, and he made beautiful fucking compositions, bro.
You know what I call that? There's certain people that come into our lives that inspire us, although they do very similar things to us. And there's other people that come into our lives to give us permission to be who we're supposed to be next.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what Chorus did for me.
And I feel like that's what you did for me.
Appreciate it, bro.
And I told you this earlier.
My nigga.
And I got to give you roses on
that's
here.
Love you,
is
my
that
nigga. That's dope.
I love you too. I never forget when I first started going around the TDE, and I want to talk more. That's not the only part of your story. There's so many stories about a lot of our connections started there.
Dog. Yeah,
but
too many.
In that TDE era, we're talking about 2010, 2011, where I'm still around the circle. I'm still kind of like, getting beats off for Absol. I would get in these studio sessions and feel really awkward because they, Schoolboy and them, they would at this time they wouldn't necessarily be too like vocal, right? They like studying the room.
Yeah, they're very observational people.
All of my, especially Kendrick, right, and J-Rock, right?
Observational people, yeah.
But what I noticed is that I was trying to figure out ways to make people laugh, and I was doing too much, and I didn't know I was doing too much.
They don't like that type of shit. They like you just being cool, like just be normal.
Then I saw you, and I saw the way that you came in that room, and I had never at that point I had never saw Ali smile.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
First time I saw Ali smile, and it's like I'm thinking of these things in the session.
Yeah.
Was when you came in there, and I'd never forget how like you just know when somebody emits a certain energy that makes people like excited to be in the room, and you did that without having like all you did was you weren't afraid to give people their roses in the moment. You didn't care what it looked like, and for me, I was always afraid of like, can I do that, or are they gonna look like am I just like, or am I doing too much? Like I was always concerned. I was in my head. You was like, I don't give a shit. Like I'm gonna give you your props, and I'm gonna show you my raps. You know how many times I wanted to show my raps off? Like I was in Carson the next street over, and I saw you do it, and I was like, bro.
And they was fucking with it. I remember. Yeah,
they was fucking with it. Yeah. They was open to it. They were asking about what you had going on. Nobody really asked.
He was asking because it was a specific song I played, and he was like, "That shit hard, nigga."
So like, I looked at that, and instead of me getting in a position where I think some people would get like, oh, what does that mean for me? I was like, I need to learn from this man.
No, that's beautiful, but that's what we're supposed to do, Kurt.
Yeah, but and it made it to the point where you being you made it so hard to be any other way. Because I looked at it and I was like, some of this is things that can be learned. Some of this is just who the fuck you are.
Can I be honest with you, Curtis? I've been that way forever.
Yeah.
Like even when I was in high school and I was known for being like, I guess you could say the dopest rapper at my school.
Yeah.
I was just like that in general. Like I mixed with so many people.
So this wasn't nothing new.
Bro, I mixed with everybody.
Yeah. See, and like, this was new for me.
The
whole thing.
even how I got in high school, bro, like I feel like that's how my normal life is. Like so for example, I got Black, Zach, and my nigga Jarvis. Those are like my down to earth friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
They see me for me, and that's it. And they love me for me.
Yeah.
You feel me? And they never change, and that's it, right? And that's kind of how I was in high school. I had my circle of friends that was just normal niggas.
Yeah.
And it was just cool niggas.
Yeah.
They just wasn't no fuck shit. They just like laughing, having a good time, and we just kick it and we go to class.
Yeah.
And you got cheerleaders, you got these niggas that's the pretty boys, you got the gangsters, you got the football team, you got all this shit going on.
Yeah.
But and then you got my homegirl like Bliss, you know Bliss.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Bliss and my homegirl Tawana, and and they got like they little like pretty girl clique.
Yeah.
We fresh, we the fresh bitches.
Yeah.
It's good, right?
Yeah.
And I was cool with all them niggas. Every single group I told you about, I was cool with people from every demographic. To the point where one time, like, a situation happened where I embarrassed this guy. The homegirl got in front of this guy because she liked him. Like, I embarrassed him because he called me out rapping. This is a true story.
Right.
He literally called me from my bench to rap. Like, called me out.
Yeah.
What's up, nigga? Like, let's...
Yeah.
Bro, I literally was like, just took a bite of my chili cheeseburger. I was
Not the chili cheeseburger.
Hungry. I was so hungry, my nigga.
Right.
And I was like, yo, this nigga really he's doing this right now?
Right.
Well, I was like, yo, told my nigga Chris, I said, bro, hold my burrito, dog. Bro, I got up. I literally said, let's go.
Let's go.
Bro, we turned the corner.
Beeline, let's go. Yeah.
Nigga, as soon as we got in position, I start eating that nigga ass up.
Yeah.
Pause.
Yeah. Yeah. Not the eyebrows.
I started.
For further confirmation, pause. Closed caption and make sure you put that pause in there. Go ahead.
So, bro, so bad, my mans was just there like, literally he was like this.
Yeah.
Like he was
just stuck. Yeah.
And everybody in the circle was just like, oh, like it was embarrassed. Like I went to another world because I was hungry. Mm-hmm. I was already like who are you to come to my bench, bro? Like I'm chilling. Like who the fuck are you, bro?
Are you so let me make sure I get this clear. Are you saying that because of the experiences that you had here in which you know what it's like to you know what to do when you're the center of attention or the moment is on you.
Totally.
You think that was something that ended up becoming a strength of yours?
1,000. That shit set the tone for understanding how the industry works. So, for example, right, this is what happened. So that happens. The homegirl gets in front of this nigga. Don't embarrass this nigga because he too fine.
That make it even worse.
And this is my homegirl. Right. Like this is my nigga. Like
but no, it make it worse for him. It make it worse for him because when you get a young lady to step in front of you, it's like, you really got mutilated. You really got mutilated,
and you got my homegirl to take up for you.
Now that's enough. Right?
So
that's enough.
So then, because it's my homegirl, and it's like, you my nigga, I'm finna, nigga, you about to get it too. You really just did this?
Yeah.
So I was like, man, get her the fuck out of here. And so all the homies just started pushing her, right? So, it's a funny situation.
Yeah.
She was hot. Mm-hmm. She went back and told her homegirls. They came over there. Why did you do that? And I was like, yo, she should have fucking stepped in. That's my nigga. Like, you gonna take that nigga side?
Right.
Whatever. So the very next day, she didn't come to school, and it was a flyer made about me. A flyer, nigga. Niggas from the football team was passing.
And what year is this we talking about?
This is 01.
01, you had to go to a Kinko's to make a flyer.
Or they knew somebody in the office.
Yeah, you had to do some extra work.
They knew somebody in the office.
This wasn't a Canva. This wasn't an Amazon package away. You had to do some work for that.
And you had to pay for the copies in the library. So either y'all spent money.
Wow.
Or y'all knew somebody in the office that was going to do it for you.
So but
here's the point.
Yeah.
So when it happened, I already was cool with niggas on the football team.
Yeah.
So immediately, I start talking to them niggas. They started out. Because I was so diplomatic. Shout out to my nigga Allen, a.k.a. Orion Beats. My nigga taught me.
Diplomatic, that's the key word.
He recently taught me that.
Yeah.
He was like, bro, my goal is to always be as diplomatic as possible. Mm-hmm. And when he said that, it stuck with me forever.
Mm-hmm. What type of personalities do you think or have you seen struggle the most in that business?
Entitled. Entitled.
Could you elaborate?
People that feel like shit is owed to them because they've been through something. Everybody in the industry's been through something. How about everybody in life has been through something? Let's get to that part. That's why I said nobody owes you anything. Because everybody goes through something.
What about the people who are starting off from scratch and don't necessarily? I mean, I'm pretty sure entitlement still plays a role. Like, I'm tight, my shit is
that part.
It don't stink. But is that still the one thing that you see as the major thing people struggle with coming into it?
That's what entitlement will fuck you up, bro.
Could entitlement be the thing that? Because some people will say, "Well, I'm so talented that people will overlook that." Entitlement. Can it still hinder what you're able to do, no matter how much how talented you are?
Totally. It doesn't matter how talented you are. I don't give a fuck how dope your beats is. I don't give a fuck how dope you rap.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dope rappers. A lot of dope producers.
Yeah.
Like, your funky ass attitude ain't gonna fly. I'm good. And what makes you think you owed that shit just because you good? Nigga, I'm good too.
It's a lot of folks. I'm about to say, I'm good too. I'm supposed to be here.
And I don't even feel half the way you feel, nigga. Like, real shit.
Yeah. That's interesting because I do see a lot of that energy here online from just usually the randoms, not my DIYers, not my day ones. They understand what it is, but I see a lot of folks and I recognize. I tell them something and I'm like, dog, if you if you can't deal with I am the least. I'm the nicest you will ever be ever have a connection to the industry. If you can't deal with truth from me, I'm the G-rated version.
You can't handle this shit.
Wait till you.
That you telling niggas what they need to hear in a proper way.
What was that moment for you? That was like, oh shit, it's this. I know you said earlier about like one of the things you had was that you thought folks would be cool, but what was that moment for you where you was like, okay, I gotta check myself.
I gotta check myself.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I want to say, and this is where it gets interesting because it was actually later in my career.
How late are we talking about?
I want to say 2015.
Oh, that is later. Okay.
Yeah, 2015.
Okay. So you had an epiphany.
Totally.
Yeah.
Everything ain't everybody's fault. Like, half of the shit that happens to you, you kind of set it up that way to an extent.
Facts. That's the hard one, though, bro.
Yeah, that's the
you
crazy
tell somebody,
part. Yeah.
You know what I figured out? And it's crazy. I had a conversation. Shout out Quiz. I haven't talked to him in a minute.
Quiz. Great guy.
I had a conversation with Quiz, and I was
guy.
like, he was asking, like, I was making phone calls to people that I met in the industry that we fell out on bad terms, and I said, bro, I did that because I figured out for going through these Tony Robbins events, I was like, if you can't give people credit for all the bad in your life without giving them some credit for the good as well.
1,000%.
Because who you did not become is a direct result of who you did not want to be and who you saw in them in a lot of ways.
I won't lie to you. A lot of, you know who really, there's two people in the industry that kind of made me started thinking about the ways that I was acting a certain way. And one is Punch and one is Dave Free.
For those that need context, who was Punch and Dave Free? Because they're not necessarily. I mean, if you know,
they
TDE,
were both
you know.
obviously at the time they were both president. They were co-presidents of TDE.
Got it.
They both took an interest in me at that time. Me and Punch just had a certain relationship that we naturally just kind of like had a certain relationship. Yeah. Me and Dave was cool too. Like, you get what I'm saying? Dave was a cool dude. But Dave said a lot of shit that was really like, damn. Like if you was to take it personal, it's only because you're taking it personal. But he's telling you some real shit. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, he told me a lot of shit, bro. I'm being honest.
I feel like there's people you meet that kind of show you where your current tolerance level is at, and like how willing and how open you are to hearing about yourself.
1,000%. And Punch tried to tell me a lot of ways, even in a more nicer way, and I still wasn't hearing them, bro. Because I was just so caught up on me going through things that I already been through, and et cetera and et cetera. And
can you disclose any? I mean, I don't want to get on your business, but can you disclose like what that even without going into detail, maybe what part of your personality was it that needed to do a little bit of repair?
Self-righteous. Yeah. Because I know I'm a good person. Yeah. But you can't really go off of that either. Like, you can't really like put that in people's face. Like, that's not cool. Damn. That's not cool. Like, it's good for them to know you're a good person. Yeah. But if you gotta remind them. Like, are you a good person? Yeah. You get what I mean? Like, or are you just telling me that because you feel old for something? Because you have to reinforce that all the time. And I feel like that's something that, without, with the risk of sounding like a boomer, sounding like an old head, I feel like that's what a lot of the younger generation is going to have to come to terms with, is that you're living in a world that fully supports, and there's enough people to show you that there's an audience of people who are unwilling to evolve from where they're at because they're holding on to their pain, they're holding on to 1,000%.
their current like story that they're telling themselves, and they don't want to be defined as anything else. And if you tell them, you're mansplaining. If you tell them you're being toxic, if you tell them and or you're being a hater, right? Yeah. So it's. I feel like the people that are going to ultimately win are going to be the people who went through very similar journeys as you. Is that you see that even the people who are doing right by people can't hold that up as something as a badge of honor, right? Yeah, I think that's not cool. And the reason why is because if you're gonna do something for somebody or you're gonna be a certain way for somebody, then just be that way. Like, you don't gotta like why you remembering it? Yeah. Why you keeping receipts? Yeah, don't keep a receipt. Like, how you keeping a receipt for, you know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't make sense. How you keeping a receipt for charity? Yeah, that's real. That's real, man. Yeah. How you keep what? Like, was it supposed to be a tax write-off the whole time? Or just Salvation Army? I'm trying to understand. Like, that's what I'm saying, bro. So I don't know. Like, I just know that because of a lot of the ways I was kind to people, I felt as if
certain opportunities, certain reverence.
Yeah.
It was owed to me, and it wasn't. Like everybody put in their work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And whoever shot it is they shot. And it's not to say that I was hating on anybody's shot, but I just felt it was. I had the Kanye thing. Damn, these niggas that much better than me. I had that.
Yeah.
I had that line in my heart for so long.
I'm not gonna hold you
because I love Kanye and I'm like, man, this nigga feel me. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm not gonna hold you. The same reasons I love Kanye be the same reasons I can't love Kanye for some team, because it's like he was saying some shit that he really felt at the moment, and it was real about that moment. But then you recognize that he was being so transparent that he was even showing you the moments that he had to grow.
Yeah,
and
that's what I do love about Kanye.
You know what I'm saying? You don't always get like, what does that look like in the future?
Yeah.
But what's the follow up to that line now? What's the update to that line? So but that's I feel that because I've had them same thoughts where I'll be like, I'm like, here's my entitlement, and I had to check myself, and I feel like our conversation was a big part of this. When I left the corner, and I say left the industry, but I left the hamster wheel, as you call it. I like a lot better. When I left the hamster wheel of it all, I also left, I guess, L.A.
Right, you left the scene.
I left the scene. I was more so when I was already in the IE, but like I left the scene, and when I did that, I noticed so many people, bro, that I was breaking bread with, that I had been around for a long time, and I invested my time, they invested their time with me. I noticed it just kind of fell by the wayside, and it wasn't inexplicable, right? There's many things. Everybody had their own story, but that was the one thing that I always appreciate about you, was the fact that, like, no matter what I told you I was on next, you was like, all right, bet, like, you my guy, like,
vision, bro. It's your vision. If you see it, it can happen. That's it. That's not my vision. So who am I to tell you that it's not gonna work?
What do you think? Stop. And I want to get.
That doesn't make sense to me.
I want to end on this note. And this might be something that would, like, this idea is going to be something I think is going to be the thing that encapsulates everything, was with the spirituality journey that you've been on. But what do you think is the reason that so many people are unable to do what you just said?
Possessiveness. They're so concerned about themselves and what they want and what they like and how things should be in their eyes.
Right.
The world ain't your world, fam. That's it.
How do you? So I got a devil's advocate question for that.
Yeah.
How are you able to identify that and still? I mean, and I don't want to speak for what you're currently doing, but part of our job as a producer is to create a canvas that complements the artist to a certain degree, right? Would you agree that that's part of it, right? And we do get a lot of requests for sounds, sonics, samples, whatever you can think of. How are you able to separate that human's need for possessing your sound
1,000%
and still be the complimentary and the great collaborator that you are? How are you able to make that balance between those two and still get your sound out the way you do?
It's a real tough balance.
Yeah,
it's a tough balance. So, where I've been able to, here's where it's bugged out. So, the only projects I have not really been able to do that in is scoring. I love scoring. Don't get it twisted. Shout out to Spring Hill, Amy. They gave me a lot of like opportunities, and I've done some pretty cool shit with them. Amy Glickman Brown, and that's my nigga right there. Like she's a white lady. But that's my nigga. You know what I'm saying?
I was very Trumpish. I was very Trumpish of you right now. The way you announced that.
Hey, shout out to 45. Shout out to 45, nigga. Make him 47. Let's get it.
Hey, do you remember when you, bro? Hey, Willie. I don't know if you gonna remember this one. 2009.
Yeah.
I'm living in Carson still.
Yeah.
We on the phone.
Curtis Middle School, right?
Curtis Middle School. I'm like down the street from Curtis.
Yeah.
Since we on the topic of scoring movies, I called you on a fucking rotary or whatever you call them, the damn phones. I called you on one of those.
Right. And
you told me for whatever reason we were having a conversation on it. I called from my grandparents' phone. 310-537 whatever.
That nigga called me on a cell phone. So I already know. That's the only phone I was talking on at that time.
2009 was a cell phone. I called your cell phone, but I had the house phone. Anyways, you told me something. That's the funniest thing.
No, you might have heard that story. 1939 house phone.
Wait for it. But you talked to me, bro. You know what you told me?
What was that?
You said, we're not making music, bro. We're scoring movies.
Facts.
I said, what you mean? He said, I'm not making beats no more, bro. Like, you can say that for them other niggas. Like, I'm scoring movies. And you didn't mean it in a literal sense at the time.
Yeah.
You were saying that every one of these beats, you had a theory. And I wonder how much you steal.
It's an environment.
Because you were like,
beat is an environment.
even the way that you would title the beats at that time. I kid you not, bro, that changed so much of my perspective of what I'm doing. Like, when people say I have a cinematic sound in what I do, so much of that is hearing somebody else that I respect say something and almost give me permission.
Got you.
Because I came up under strict parents.
Yeah.
My pops, I should say strict parent. My pops was super strict, and what happens when you're in an environment where your pops are super strict, you end up becoming a people pleaser. You're not always a free thinker.
That was me. My dad wasn't
Really?
super strict.
Yeah.
He was really cool, actually. He was pretty liberal in the sense of like he let me find myself, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He even gave me certain advice to like go discover myself.
Yeah.
But it's just that I know my parents just didn't play. They just didn't fuck around.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to respect their rules.
Yeah.
So like even when I did shit outside the house, I kept it totally separate to the point where they didn't even know it went down, bro.
See, and this is
Like,
that's exactly what
I'm coming out about shit that I did as a teenager and in my 20s about now.
Yeah.
And the looks on their faces are like
flabbergasted.
What the fuck?
Well, I
like all kind of street shit. They just
they had no
I'm gonna be
idea.
honest. There's certain friends that, for example, certain friends know about certain things I've done. Yeah. And certain other friends don't.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because I've been able to, like, I hope the word I'm using is correct. I've been able to ascertain.
Yeah. Don't ask me. If it ain't, that's the word.
I've been able to ascertain whether this group of friends can handle this information or not. You understand?
I got that.
I know this group of friends can handle it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But this group of friends can't. I love them both equally. Mm-hmm. But I had to use discernment to say, you know, everything ain't meant to tell all your friends just because they're all your friends.
So I brought that up, and I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah. But I brought that up, and I'm gonna put a bow on it. But basically to say that you were one of those people that gave me, it was almost like, oh, we're allowed to do that. And that's only a question that's asked from somebody who's used to being in a strict environment where it's like so much of it is, I didn't get permission. I can't go out. I'm on punishment. I can't do this. And I think that some of that followed into my adulthood. And I'm telling you, bro, like seeing you say that this is we're making movies made me understand, like, damn, this little 15 second to 30 second is setting up a story. Damn it, I'm telling too much of the climax and the intro. And even not even necessarily for like placements, but just for the enjoyment of the music.
Yeah.
And why I liked it, like, I listened. The first time I heard Tay Beats, I wanted what you say about chords. That's what I wanted to.
That's
I wanted
what
to quit.
Tay Beats got you.
I was like, I'm not gonna produce. I'm gonna rap the rest of my life over his beats.
Right. Nah, Tay Beats is crazy, bro.
But you need them people who give you permission, man, to just do something different. I'm glad that you chose to move forward. But
I started using break beats because of Tay Beats.
Really?
That's dead ass. I wasn't using break beats until Tay Beats.
Damn.
That's a fact.
There's a bunch.
That's a fact.
There's a bunch of things I wasn't doing.
That is a fact.
There's a bunch.
So Poor Man's Dreams was technically inspired by Tay Beats.
That makes sense, though.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It sounds like a Tay Beat to an extent.
And if you ever met Tay Beats has done an interview on this channel before. But like, if you ever met him, like, he's not somebody that over explains his process. Even when I was his signee, I was signed to him. I was like, Tay.
He's very vague.
I was like, Tay, bro, could you like my drums?
He's very vague.
I was like, Tay, my drums, like my drums.
No, you know, you just gotta, in
that part. I said, Tay, bro, like
nigga.
Like the clarity.
You one of them black people. You one of them niggas that'll let you know where you got them shoes at, huh, you nigga? I see Inglewood ass nigga.
Someplace.
Inglewood ass nigga. I see you, nigga.
He told me. He said. I said, I tell you, man, like my drums loud. Your drums are like they're full. I said, how do I get that? He said, oh man, you got to experiment, man. You got to try some things out.
That's
and I said, is it the hi hats? He said,
nigga ain't gonna tell you nothing.
Not quite.
And they ain't gonna tell you nothing.
That's the worst. You start taking guesses, and he said, not quite.
Hey, yo, shout out to Tay Beats. This nigga the most fishing nigga. This nigga ask you all the questions but don't tell you nothing. Nigga, you crazy. I see your shit, nigga. The jig is up, nigga. What's up?
But then,
shout out to Tay Beats,
but then how?
nigga.
But then it's a beautiful time to be alive because I'm looking at my collection of drums and I'm pulling sounds that I'm like, I wish I had these drum breaks in 05, 06, 07.
That nigga drum chops are out of
Nasty.
here. Yeah, they're
What?
out of here, bro. They're out of here, dog. They're
So-
so stupid, dog.
So Willie, I know that you're short on time. I know there's some other responsibilities and things, and bro, I genuinely appreciate you and Zach coming out here, bro. Like
No, that's black.
Black.
That's
Like I said,
black,
Zach. I said black. Yeah.
Zach
No,
is a spirit.
No, I know. That's Uncle Nearest. Shout out to Uncle Nearest.
Computer man.
I say one thing. My bad, Black. Black, my bad.
Hafi Zaki.
My bad. Yeah. But I appreciate y'all coming out this way. But I do want to end it on this note because this was a thing that surprised me about the conversation we had. In the midst of you telling me about myself, you doing what brothers are supposed to do.
Yeah.
Not every brother does it. You had me looking at myself in the mirror in a different way and recognizing that as right. It's funny. The thing that you learn is the thing that you taught me.
I mean, but that's how it's supposed to go.
That's how it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
The righteousness factor is something I had to check my own self. I had to check myself on, be checked on, and I changed that. And I recognized that I need to focus on the pro of the independence, and little to no focus on the whatever of the other thing. It doesn't matter.
One
what
thing
matters
I can
is
say,
what matters.
Curtis, sorry to cut you off. One thing is that I realized once you get rid of the hoopla in your head, in your life, man, everything is so much clearer, bro.
When you say hoopla, what are we talking about specifically?
Let's just say a producer.
Yeah.
A nigga come in the game, he wanted the Grammys, he wants the fucking plaques.
Yeah.
You know, obviously money is important as well, you know what I mean? But you're doing it for cars, you're doing it for clout, you want to get bitches, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You want it for all the shit that's tangible that literally all can be taken away from you.
Yes.
I feel as if I just don't think that a person should start trying to achieve something unless they really know why they're doing it. That's most important. Why are you doing it?
Why are you doing this? Like as long as you've been doing this.
I have a message. Like what is what you said when you saw me go to that studio and niggas' faces light up and they get happy, they get motivated.
It's different.
You know?
I still to this day, I don't care what session I go to.
I know that's my purpose.
You know the closest thing I
was a peer counselor, bro.
But you know the closest thing I've seen to that is the Noah effect.
That's why I love Noah, because I feel like me and Noah got the same energy.
Yeah,
his is a little more like
it's different.
Freer.
Yeah. Y'all are who y'all are.
He's so hippie with his shit.
That's the part. That's the part of me. That's the part of me.
Yeah.
That's the part of the stone cold face of me that was protecting myself because when I was going to Curtis Middle School, when I was going to Anna Lee, like you had to help. If you smiled too much, it made you a target.
Yeah,
like you had to have a certain look on your face, like that might be a risk.
Yeah,
no matter what your demeanor was, you had
know what
to
I liked
have
about
that.
me. I smiled no matter what, and then when it went down,
you still
I
had
fucked
your
niggas
business
up, and that's just what it was. So it was like, if it was a bad surprise, bad nigga. Don't judge a book by its cover.
That's a difference. I didn't want nobody to bother me. I was the one.
I was looking for smoke. I'm not gonna hold. So whenever it came, I was happy because think about it. I'm peaceful on the average.
Yeah.
So it's like, even if I'm going through things, I'm holding certain aggression back. Yeah. So I'm looking for the moment to release that aggression.
Saying that, and I'm
saying, if you're a dickhead and you want to use me,
you waiting on it.
Let's go.
Meanwhile,
let's go. I've been waiting for this meal, nigga.
Meanwhile, I'm like, won't you niggas leave me alone? I don't say nothing to nobody. Why don't you leave me alone?
I was ready. Like I told you, look what I did. Listen, and when I killed that nigga in that battle that day, I literally did it not even for hip hop. Like I did it because I wanted to eat, and you interrupted me in the middle of my meal.
You know what that reminds me of, and I want to bring it to. I want to bring it back to the spirituality, but you know what that reminds me of? We had a conversation in which I said something to you, gave me an epiphany.
Yeah,
remember that dopamine conversation we had?
That's one of the greatest conversations I ever had in my life,
bro. For context,
that's one of the conversations that changed my life. To be
that's
honest with you.
wild.
One of them for sure.
Okay, so for a little bit of context, I was talking to Willie on the phone. We was at that time, like I was living in San Bernardino. We was on the phone a lot during that time, just kind of like comparing stories and kind of like sharing war stories over the campfire type shit.
Yeah.
And I never forget, I'm talking to him and I'm like, Willie, man, I feel like the process you go through to choose the perfect snare You can't put that into a box and give that to somebody else and teach them that.
No, not at all.
It's a certain itch that you're going for. And when you hear a certain texture of a snare, you specifically feel something, or you get a dopamine spike. And I was like, when you are in a position to where you understand that concept and you recognize that in certain ways you have control over what spikes your dopamine next, and if you can control your dopamine, you can control your destiny. Like, not in a literal sense, but if you can control the things that move your passions.
That's facts, bro.
In talking to you, I recognize, like, so many producers, I think, and I'm speaking more so to the community right now, is that so many producers look at other producers and then you're comparing, it's like you're comparing your hoopty to somebody Tesla, and you're looking at, I got rims, they got rims. Okay, his self-driving, but I can still drive. Like, you're comparing things that don't actually matter when the value of a Tesla is not what you see, but it's the things that are not inside and where the things that are inside are housed.
What is it made of?
What is it made
you
of?
made of?
And so, what are you made of, and also what drives you?
And what drives
And when I listen to your music, bro, like, there was a part of me when I was younger that was like, the competitive nature, like, oh, okay, he did that, I want to try this, and it's like, that's the wrong way to go about it all entirely.
Because I'm not making it from that
that's not
energy.
what you're making it from.
And I think
place.
that's what throws people off when they try being that way with me. I think that's why it never works out, because the energy in which I make my creations is not made off of competition. It's made off of me competing with myself from the day prior or a year prior, whatever. It's me loving to elevate and knowing that I've grown in my craft. So when a nigga that has that energy, it's, you know, he's watching me from afar or whatever. If he's near, it doesn't matter. Like, if you want to exude that towards me, it just don't work, because the force field that I built around my creativity doesn't allow it. It's just two different frequencies, literally oil and water.
I remember.
So it just never it just never happens.
I remember Glasses gave me this example one time. Glasses Malone said, I don't think people recognize that you're not running a race.
1,000%.
He said,
shout out to Glasses.
He said, Curtis,
wise crip.
Very wise crip. Yeah. He said, Curtis, it's like you. He said, Curtis, it's like you jogging on the road with headphones and people running full speed on the side of you. You don't even notice that they're running with you because they think they're in competition.
Crazy. That's crazy.
But you're listening to your music and you're going on your jog because you're here for self-care. It's almost like going to the gym and then you see the people who are only there and they feed off of other people for competition.
Yeah.
Oh, you gonna flex? I'm gonna flex. Oh, okay, you doing lyrics over here? I'm gonna do lyrics over here. Like, and I feel like that takes people away from what they ultimately can become, the greatness they're supposed to have.
You know what that has to do with?
What's that?
Possession.
Word of the night.
And I'm gonna tell you right now. Bro. I'm gonna tell you right now. And Glasses is a perfect example. And I'm gonna use myself in that example. So check it out. Sometimes with Glasses is like perceptions on certain shit, like when it comes to like music, whatever.
Oh, he can be polarizing for sure. If you never had a conversation,
polarizing, right?
Yeah, it's a lot.
So earlier, when in my earlier years of knowing Glasses, I kind of used to be like, "What the fuck is wrong with this nigga, dog? Like, what is he listening to? What is this nigga talking about?"
Yeah.
But as I've grown, I've learned to love people like that, because you know why?
Yeah.
If once you get out of the comfort zone of your own perception, and you say, you know what, let me just come out of my house of perception, and just see what else is there in the world.
Come out of my house of possession. Ooh.
Let me just see what else is there in the world.
Yeah.
You're like, you know what? That sounds wacky, but that doesn't sound so bad.
Yeah.
I can kind of understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and to me, I love to hear more people's perspectives now, because. And here's the thing, and not shun them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because that's the quick thing people do. That's the easy thing people do now.
Yeah.
Immediately get
just
you up
because
out of
it's
here.
not your perspective.
Yeah, and that's not how life works.
That's not how life works. It's the same thing I told my nigga. I said, yo, just because we going to the same destination don't mean our routes is going to be the same.
Damn.
You might be in Hollywood and you might have to get to fucking downtown LA.
Yeah.
And I might be in Inglewood and have to get to downtown LA. But the route for me is comfortable for me, and the route for you is comfortable for you, bro.
But
because I'm taking that route, don't say that I'm taking the wrong route. I'm actually taking the right route. It's just not your route.
And the fact that you use LA as an example is beautiful, because I just had a show. Hannibal Buress invited me out to perform.
Yeah.
I missed one exit and I was 30 minutes late.
Oh shit!
I forgot how LA operates in traffic.
Yeah.
But in combination of what you're saying, everybody has their own routes, and one decision could ultimately be the reason why this person is still around, and this person has to pack it up and do something else. In your experience, and I want to end this on a spirituality level. I'll turn the music out.
This is what
sure. I know you pressed for time, but I definitely want to nail that home because you said some names.
God is going to allow it.
People, I'm like, wait, what?
Ralph Smart. Shout out to Ralph Smart. Let me go ahead and do this real quick. I got to do my Ralph Smart impression. Okay, listen. Deep Divers.
Yeah.
Cutters King. Willie B. Deep Divers. Slow motion this side. Beautiful deep divers. Woo! Breathing in that good ass prana, baby.
I know y'all know who that is.
Take that. Peace. Infinite waters diving.
You got this down packed. Not you said it like.
That's my nigga.
Bro,
shout out to Ralph Smart.
Bro, that sound like when AI be taking people's voices.
Bro, and he's a hip hop head. So certain shit he says is hip hop quotes. He be like, "Oh baby."
Look, yeah. No, for real. He sound like a Cameron ad lib. For real.
That nigga loves rap. He says so much rap shit. I be like, bro, this nigga crazy.
No, hey, since we on let's go there. Since we on it with Ralph Smart, you know what? I had a different respect for him. I was like at first. This is another YouTube personality. You see a lot of people who come and they present themselves as one thing, and then all it takes is one daughter or son to show you like they wasn't really like that in real life.
Right.
But with him, the way he spiritually clapped back at Netflix. Oh, Deep Divers. I saw something on Netflix that was disturbing.
Are you talking about the Dahmer shit?
Yes. He said... Like I'm not saying verbatim, but the way he clapped back, I was like, that was the most spiritual clap back I ever saw.
That's why I watch him. Like, nigga,
I was like, you can do that.
He mutilates shit in the most nicest way. Yes. I said, yo, that is the most greatest display of balance that you could ever see.
Because he's doing because have you ever noticed the people who are always trying to teach positivity to you only exude that when they're teaching that concept, but when they get in a situation where pressure's on their back, it's almost like the pastor or like the Christian artist that you see them always, God is this, but then the moment that somebody get out of pocket, God not in that conversation no more. Right? So it's like, do you really live that or is that part of your job description? Is that part of your business to push that campaign? With Ralph Smart, he's like, if this is a character, I'm not about to break character right now.
Facts.
That's why I believe it's not a character.
Facts.
But he said, I was watching something on Netflix and... let's breathe in first before we address this. I was like, you the real deal.
Nah, he don't play. and I will say this, and I will say it openly, nigga. I get up every morning and I go to YouTube and I say Ralph Smart. It's already there, so I click on it. Mm-hmm. If he hadn't dropped the video, I'll check back later.
Where are you? Where would you say you're at in life that makes a message like his so potent for you?
Because he seems unbothered.
Why do you need that? Because you seem like you unbothered already.
Is bothering. This game is annoying. My career is pretty annoying. Like, this people in the shenanigans make it that way. I mean, I'm blessed to be around a room full of mirrors. I love my fucking squad. Yeah. Shout out to the Mirror Gang. Shout out to Punch, Daylight, Lyric Michelle, and my nigga Early Riser. My nigga Crime Boss, everybody that's there. Drew, my niggas.
An amazing group of y'all.
Amazing
y'all
group of
real
people,
Avengers.
man.
Y'all
I love these people. I love these people. And I'm serious. We're really approaching this music shit with a superhero mentality. Mm-hmm. Like, we're saying so much positive shit in these songs, man.
And you're doing it your way. It don't feel formulaic. Man. It feels like y'all are doing whatever you said in that room is what it gets exported.
These people are good people, man. I love these people so much, man. Like, these people are my heart, dog. I can't say that. I love these people so much, man.
At this stage, and I kind of feel like I already know the answer.
Yeah.
Good people is more important than good music.
At this point, it is.
Yeah.
At this point, I mean, I've done so much in my life.
Good looks, I should say.
I'm going to say, Curtis, I'm at a point in my life where I don't care about good looks or good... just anything that's aesthetically pleasing to what my career may look like to somebody else.
Yeah.
I only care about the vibes that's around me.
Man, that's a beautiful place.
Some beautiful people who are not perfect, they're flawed, but their intentions in even being better people, that's what matters the most.
So we talked about Ralph Smart. What other things are you doing that are centering you to continue to be who you are? Because to a certain degree, this is just in your DNA. You are who you are. Your friend base, your family base, all keep you centered. You're always around people that are unafraid to tell you about yourself, and you're unafraid to have those folks around. And you encourage that.
1,000%.
What do you do in terms of personal self-care that allows you to keep?
I think I need to do more self-care, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we all do.
But for now, what I do, man, I tap into a lot of music like I used to. So I'm gonna give y'all a story. Like my moms, my pops, I don't know if they thought I was a weird nigga when I was a kid. Like, you know what I'm saying, when I was developing from like baby stages to like being my own like person. Yeah. But all of a sudden, when it came to listening to music, I would literally sit Indian style in front of the stereo. I'll put music on and I'll just go like this. That's how I rock out to music.
Still do that today.
I just do that.
That's
to an extent.
crazy.
No, but to an extent. That's why I used to.
You had me doing that shit.
Yeah.
2010, 2011. Right. I would. This. How about this?
So how about this?
No.
I seen chords do it. Wait. How about this? I seen chords do it, and that's what allowed me to say, "Oh, so you can do that." Because that's how I always wanted to do that.
You notorious for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the look away. It's always a look away. It's a look away. It's the. Like you look away and come back to it. Like y'all not ready for that. Yeah. Like there's times I'm in here and I'm nodding my head to the beat and I do like this and I'm like, that's the Willie B effect. Nice. I can't even help it.
That's fire.
I can't even help it. But it's
I appreciate it. Man.
I'll just tell you this from a friend perspective, bro, from your brother perspective, from somebody that has seen you rise in this industry and not change who you are.
Appreciate it, man.
You definitely inspire me, man. And the last thing I would ever do, I want to do, especially because I know there's all types of different personalities in that industry, just like in any other industry. That's just life, what you come to learn, right? Mm-hmm. You are the folks that are national treasures. You are the folks that remind you that you cannot make sweeping assumptions about an entire industry because of your personal experiences within it. Because
I feel you're one of those people as well, my brother.
I appreciate that, man.
So yeah,
appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
So the folks here, I'm sure that they've been already saying, like, shout out to everybody who's been watching here. Like, shout out everybody who's rewatching.
Who's talking? What's going on? I mean, I know you got the feed.
I got the feed right here, but no, they're vibing with it. They loving the gyms. What advice would you give? Because you've seen both sides of this, and I think is why it's so interesting to have you here talking. Because you know that I'm 1,000% on the independent side of things and DIYer side, but you have operated in both sides and found success in both.
Thank you, man.
What advice, bro? Sure. Yeah, it is. But you know what's crazy? Like it's the same thing when we got the autism diagnosis about my son. Everything that I kept hearing these therapists say, I was like, you're saying this as if like, oh, it's gonna be difficult.
Doom. Yeah, well, like it's a doom or something.
Not that, but also too, like, isn't parenting just that anyway?
Yeah, period. Yeah, period.
Like the worry about trying to figure out what was going on with him, that would exist no matter what. When he's a teenager and he goes out into the world. So if that's the case, then I find myself understanding that this is just a way of life. So my question to you is this. For those that are at a crossroads, which represents a large part of this audience, they don't know if they want to do things independently. They're a producer. They don't know if they want to work with an artist. You suggested it earlier. Or they don't know if they're the type of person that should be in the industry. You've seen many different personalities come into this and blow up, and many different personalities that have just fizzled out the first year. What advice would you give for that person that's sitting at that crossroads right now? Like, what kind of self-assessment can they give themselves? Because there's certain personalities that I'm starting to figure out. I'm one of those.
Just don't take shit personal. That's the number one, man. Like, and here's the thing. It's a difficult thing to swallow. So even if somebody is doing something personally, don't take it personal. And the reason why is because you being caught up in that emotion is going to cripple you from proceeding a certain way. Because you're going to be too caught up on what happened and what this person did to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing wrong with addressing things, but moving in the energy of it, that's where it'll fail you. It's a difference. There's a total difference. So I'm gonna tell you something that Kim taught me, man. Kim said some real shit, and this shit stuck with me for life. People are allowed to feel however they want to feel about you. They have the right.
Right.
But once you start exuding an energy towards somebody, that's where everything changes. I don't care what people have to say about me or feel about me or think. But once you start putting that, like showing that in a certain, exuding
like putting
that,
action behind that, or what do you mean in terms
or
of
even just exuding it in a
conversation?
just exuding it in any kind of way. Especially if you're you can, and that's the thing, you don't know what another person's gifts are.
Right.
Other people have gifts of picking up on energy. And I think as I've been getting more spiritual, that's been getting heavy. So that's why I don't really like being around a lot of people.
Yeah.
I've been very selective of the people that's in my circle.
Yeah.
Because of that reason. It's because I feel it more.
Yeah.
I don't want negativity. I don't want rah-rah people that just want to be rah-rah for the fuck of it. And you feel entitled to be rah-rah because of whatever you've been through.
That's real.
I don't want nobody that thinks shit is owed to them because they've been through shit. I've been through shit too. I have every reason to be a fuck nigga just like you.
Yeah.
But I don't. So since I'd made that choice to not be that way, I'm not allowing you to be that way in my realm.
Not in my circle.
That's out.
Yeah.
Go somewhere where somebody wants that shit.
Yeah.
And hey, who am I? Listen, I'm not the end all be all. I'm not validating anything either. I'm just saying what's for me and what's not for me.
Yeah.
And however you carrying what you got going, it's not for me. And that's it.
What is protecting your energy look like for you?
Boundaries. Setting boundaries. That's what protecting energy is for me. Setting boundaries. And setting boundaries to where people understand it has nothing to do with nothing malicious. It has nothing to do with you being facetious or anything. Like, it has nothing to do anything like that. It's just, this is how I like my life. If you can't respect that, then you can't be here.
Facts.
That's it.
Facts.
Or you can be here, but only to an extent.
Yeah.
You understand? And there is no malice or no harsh feelings behind that. It's like this. If I don't like chitlins, I don't like chitlins.
Right.
Don't serve me chitlins.
Right.
I'm not going to eat them.
No matter how you serve them up, no matter what you package them in, no matter what color do you want to make them.
I don't give a fuck if you put macaroni and cheese on the plate with the chitlins because I love macaroni.
Terrible.
Take the fucking chitlins off of my macaroni and cheese plate.
Black, I still make memories of my grandfather and my grandmother cooking.
Nasty.
They were Southern. So they cooked them in the kitchen.
My mama and auntie cleaned them in the living room.
Okay, my grandparents had the chitlins inside the kitchen, and I
know you know.
It's so bad for those who've never been around chitlins. Or you had the same experience too?
Oh, that nigga family from Louisiana.
Oh,
that's what we and him.
Part of Louisiana.
Bogalusa, New Orleans.
My nigga.
Lafayette and Baton Rouge.
Oh shit, there it is, nigga. And that's where low key when me and this nigga got cool, cause like we was like, damn nigga, our mama's low key acolyte. And then he was like, where your mama from? I said, Mississippi. He was like, oh, my mama's from Louisiana. I'm like, oh, that's why, nigga. Like, right there it is, nigga.
Chitlins got such a distinct smell. Chitlins, I remember going to sleep, like on the same patio where I was smelling like, I told you, well, we talking about that offline. I'm blurred between we were talking about online and offline, but one time I came home and I was in my studio away from the house, which was on the patio, my grandmother's patio where I started off in Carson, and it was my first time smoking weed, and I laid down thinking like, man, my family some squares, they ain't gonna know about shit in here, and I laid down on that couch. I never forget, I had smoked so much damn stress that night. That before, shout out to the homie Vic. I had smoked so much stress. I laid on the couch in the middle of the night. I coughed hours after I smoked, and smoke came out. And I said, I gotta get my life together. Like that's my rock bottom there, right? Stress. It's so bad. But I'm laid out, and I don't recognize like how the smell still is stress. It's still on you. It's like dirt. It's smelling on you.
Yeah.
Mom's walked up, and her like most Felicia Rashad. You know what I'm saying? Like mom on Cosby energy. She walked up like intrigued, opened up the glass door, didn't react. Didn't she? She didn't say, oh. She said, how you doing? I said, she fucking with me. She fucking with me. How you doing? I said, I'm good. I'm good, Mom. She said, all right. You dehydrated?
Right.
I said, yeah, a little bit. She drinks some water. She said, last thing she said before she left, she said, smoking stress will give you migraines.
Yeah.
And she closed the door and kept eye contact the whole time through that glass door. I said, all right, see, Mama's different. Right. Mama's different. And you get around that energy and you recognize, bro, like you need that. You need that. And I recognize that, bro, like no matter what somebody may think of me, I think we all have our different ways of showing our authenticity because we are who we are.
Yeah, just don't chastise me about it.
Don't chastise me about it. But also,
that's one thing, you know?
But also, too, on the flip side of that, I need people like you in my life, bro. And I don't care how much time passes by. I don't care if I'm out of pocket. I should always be open to it. I'm telling you right. I'm always be open to it. If I'm out of pocket, let me know. Especially on things that affect the perception of your bottom line, or even the perception of how I perceive what you're doing. Because talking about this pro independence, you get a lot of pride, but it's important to recognize, as you told me on the phone call, that what's the source? What's the intent? And if you're not healed, you could say a lot of healing things in the language of pain. It's a lot of people. There's a lot of pastors who say a lot of healing things, but it's in the tonality of pain, and people can't hear that part of it, and they can't decipher if whether or not this person is actually living by the creeds that they're sharing. And I'm telling you, like, that was such an important moment for me, because it was like, instead of spending time trying to discourage people from going into this journey because you had a bad journey in it, what could that energy be used with instead? Well, teaching people by bringing folks like yourself the proper way to go along this, so that, one, you don't become a headache to somebody else. Because I done did some shit where I was like, I look back on it and I'm like, no wonder I didn't get invited back to the damn studio. It's fucking goof. Like, I had but I didn't have a big bro to tell me, like, pull me to the side, like, you don't do that shit, bro. I had to learn from experience. A lot of that.
Like, Punch was the nigga that say, hey man, like, let me talk to you real quick. Like, you know, you might want to think about this.
Punch ain't do that with me. Punch he just look at me like, who brought this nigga?
Y'all, first of all, y'all history with that fucking beat. First of all, bro, y'all history with that beat.
not do you know it's the worst? Look, I gotta tell this, Willie, it's the worst feeling. It's the funniest and the worst feeling. As you watching a very powerful man speaking to Complex or whoever he speaks to, he's talking about the worst beat he ever heard, and everybody in the world, it feels like, is watching that, and you just sitting there twiddling your fingers, listening to this story, knowing damn well who was the producer of the worst beat he ever heard. And he don't even mention your name, and that hurts even more.
You know what's lovely about Punch? He's such a positive nigga. You know what Punch always said about that?
What?
He said, you know what's the great part about that beat Curtis did? That's how I was able to recognize Q's talent. Because Q did a song to that, so I was like, damn, you did a song to that. That's crazy.
It's a flip side. But you know what's funny? You know why I feel like I wish I would have met Punch at a different time where I wasn't so naive. And it's funny, like, I feel like how Kyle Kuzma was with the Lakers, wet behind the ears and didn't recognize, like, bro, you're doing too much. I feel like that was me a lot early in the industry.
I'm gonna be honest, I feel like that was me to an extent as well. I just think me and him had a certain relationship where he really knew me. Like, he had a good sense of my heart. Yeah. So he didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't go all the way. He knew, like, nah, he's cool. Like, it's just because I feel like me and you had a lot of the same sentiment about a lot of shit in general about the industry. You feel what I'm saying? But I just think you were a little more vocal than I was.
And that was the problem, is I know how to shut the hell up. Yeah. But with him, no, for real, I'm self-realizing now. But with Punch, I think what's interesting is that I made a video because now I'm in the YouTube space. Yeah, it's not like it's there's no need to, like, there's no clap back at that. He told a story, that's the facts. Yeah, and he told the positive and the negative of it, and I took it but check it out. I made a video where I reacted to it, and I told the story, and all he did was type. I put it on Instagram. He said, "Genius."
That's the bro. I fucking love that nigga. That nigga.
He didn't shoot me no DM like you out of line for that, like, bro, you know, whatever. He didn't. He said, man, all he said was,
the coolest niggas ever, dog. He one of the coolest motherfuckers alive, dog. Yeah. And that is a fucking fact, dog.
And I wish I would have met somebody, but I look at it the way that they interact with you, bro, and I'm glad. Yeah. I look at you and I feel like I say the same thing to Willie. I said to old guy Shanabi, and I'm like, I look at what y'all doing, and it's not that I'm living vicariously through you, but I'm rooting for y'all as if I'm rooting for myself.
I'm living vicariously through you, through everything you're doing, bro, because this shit is crazy, bro.
Man, thank you, bro.
This shit's crazy, bro. Like, come on, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. This shit's crazy.
It's a thing, bro.
This is crazy, bro.
Man.
Hey, guys, I want to try to understand, like, everything y'all watching right now with Curtis King, like, there was a time we were on the phone and he was talking about all of this. And it wasn't even here, y'all. So, for me to see it all right here, that shit is wild. Then, to walk in with his wife and his kid, like, man, come on, man, this is nuts, man.
And we still not even,
God works.
God works,
yes,
and the one thing that has stayed consistent, we talked about it earlier, you mentioned Jay-Z mentioned this. What is that one attribute? What is that one skill set?
Never stop.
Never stop.
You don't stop. Nipsey Hussle said you don't stop, bro. It's a marathon. And he's right.
Yeah.
It's a marathon, bro. This shit don't stop until you out of here.
Yeah.
Facts.
Man.
And then the cool part is, depending on how much you did, it kind of still don't stop, because that nigga still going. And he's gone. He's not even, it's almost feel like he hasn't really.
If you follow,
it don't even feel like it.
If you follow Marathon Clothing on Instagram, they're dropping as if he's still ushering that in. It's wild.
It's
strands, new strands,
so
new clothes.
Big.
Yeah,
and I can't hold you. Nipsey Hussle was a big fucking inspiration.
Yeah,
as to like how I even wanted to approach my artistry, bro. Because it was like, I'm an older man now. I seen a lot in the game. I got a pretty good run, with the production shit, and I made some pretty cool friends that are pretty major artists.
Right.
And I have a lot to teach people through the shit that I've experienced. So, yeah, man, like Nip, man, like just the way he branded himself, like towards the end of everything, like he was fucking doing this thing like earlier years on some, it was pretty hood, whatever.
Yeah.
But when
he showed
refining
that.
It,
he showed you everything, though.
Yeah, that's.
He didn't come in here trying to act like he wasn't where he was from.
I loved it, man.
And he showed you the progression in front of your eyes.
Get-go. We loved it from the get-go. We was big Nipsey fans from the get-go, bro. And shout out to Lawrence and Lamar and my nigga Phonics Beats, man. I got a chance to even get to know him through them. So especially Phonics. Phonics was like the main nigga I knew.
The guy, man.
Yeah, Phonics is amazing. That nigga is diamond. I think he went diamond with no role models or something like that, or something.
That don't surprise me.
Yeah, nigga, crazy.
We've always seen the light in these folks before the rest of the world did.
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
like
bro.
I've met him a few times, but man, at the same token, bro, like you are so much an important piece to redefining the sound of a coast, redefining the sound of an era. And bro, I still listen to the stuff that you have done years and years ago. The stuff that I'm listening to recently, and I'm still blown away by it. But more so than anything else, the man you are, because I've seen so many people let this game change them. And I've seen so many people allow, like, the things they go through justify the reasons why they're an asshole, or they end up imitating the very industry that they were against.
I was almost there.
Really?
Almost there, yeah, for sure. I was almost there.
What was the pivot? What made you pivot,
man,
and remain?
Definitely Kim was one of the people.
Yeah. For
sure. Like, you got to have somebody in your corner that's going to talk and let you know about certain shit about yourself.
Yeah.
For sure. You need that. So, she checked me on a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Really made me understand where I went wrong in a lot of those situations.
That's my wife right now.
That's usually what a counterpart does, like when they're there, you know what I'm saying? A certain way.
I never had that before. So, it's not easy, Willie. Willie, it's not easy when
because it's a counterpart.
It ain't easy when you passionate about something. You gonna tell your wife and she say, "Hey, is it a possibility that you wrong as hell?"
Nah, facts, right? Right. So
you supposed to be on my side. It pisses you because you're not trying to hear that in the moment.
Yeah.
You like, ain't that crazy?
And like
that's not so crazy.
and so having somebody like that in your corner was definitely a good thing. Definitely in those situations, punch for sure. Like a lot of those situations, and more so because what's tight about Kim is that she's still seeing it from an outside perspective.
Right.
So not only does this person have a good take on how things go because they just have their own perception of life, and that's a pretty intellectual, concept. But they're also seeing it from a perspective of being a fan of music.
Right.
So it lets you in on that world because, you get what I mean? Like,
she doing that for me with TikTok. I wouldn't have never been on TikTok had it not been for my wife, because she was like, look at the other side of this.
Yeah.
Maybe that content's not working because people don't want to see FL Studio.
Yeah. And so,
like facts. Little shit like that where it's like, I didn't even think about that because I'm a producer. They want to see.
Women.
She said,
they're women.
We don't. I as a consumer don't want to see that program. I don't know.
Women
I don't have any context.
Shit
it's too much.
We don't know, bro. And men got to be okay with that. I think that's the thing men have to work on.
That's huge.
Men have to be okay that women know shit that we don't know,
and they're gonna just see it from a certain lens.
And they're right.
Yeah,
and they're right.
That's the hardest one. They're right.
But hold on, guys.
What's the caveat? What's the caveat?
Women got to be okay that men know certain shit, and that's just what it is.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
So it's an even coin.
Yeah. It's growth. It's growth that it can always be made. There's enough room for growth for everybody, for sure.
Yeah.
Bro,
sorry, go.
No, you good, bro. I just want to make sure that I'm respectful of your time, man.
Definitely.
Let the people know what is coming up next for you that you're supremely excited about, that you can talk about.
Totally.
And then we'll get to how they can connect with you and what things to look out for and whatnot.
I just dropped. Well, my nigga Juice. Shout out, damn, they hating on the homie Juice. They hating on my nigga Juice. Juice, Hispanic artist from Linwood, from my city. So
I have heard of Juice. Yeah.
So very proud of what he's got going. His growth. Really amazing MC.
Fire.
Really good. Oh my goodness, he's so good. Fucking good. And I'm just happy he's from my city, so it just made it better. Like
not to stray off
20 times better.
Not to stray off, but what makes you excited about working with an artist?
Oh,
what do you hear?
I understand because I was there at one point, and then when they're really good, you just want to help them get there because you know what it's like being that good in that position. It's hard, and like for me, the only reason why it happened to me because somebody came along and said, "Hey, I fuck with you."
Yeah.
And shout out to Punch because he's the one that came to he literally picked me up from my house.
Yeah.
And took me to the TDE.
Crazy.
Bro. He had a conversation with my pops for like 30 minutes because I was late as fuck coming out the door. You know what I'm saying? So, and I had that really bad. Because I think you and Tay Beast waited for me for like 45 minutes. Nigga, this nigga waited for me so long outside one time and he damn near got fucked with by the cops.
I'm gonna just say, I'm gonna speak
I had it bad and I apologize.
I
apologize to all my friends.
Look, I'm learning. I don't own your time. I don't own your time.
And you're correct. And you know what? And see, that's where self-entitlement fucked me up.
I would like you to hurry up. I'm right with you.
No, but this is the facts. This is the facts. And that's where that self-entitlement shit was kind of bad at that time.
Yeah.
Because even though the possession shit was true, I did feel that way.
To be fair, is it self-entitlement or is it just bad time management?
Nah, it's self-entitlement.
Really?
For sure. Especially
because I got trash time management.
I'm a certain type of guy, Curtis. So you
gonna take your time?
Listen, I'm gonna explain this. I'm gonna explain this to y'all perfectly. If Larry David grew up in the hood, it's me.
What is your affinity for Larry David? Like
I love he sees shit, bro.
I feel like at some point y'all are gonna meet. Y'all are gonna meet, and y'all gonna be best friends. I feel like it's gonna happen.
I feel the same way.
I love it. Look, I
feel the same way.
I love Larry David, but you probably are the only other person I hear that like talks about him more. What is it about? For those that don't know, Curb Your Enthusiasm, the writer of Seinfeld, he has one of the greatest. It's like
amazing.
What would you say? It's like
it's illest.
It's not dry humor, but it's like what is this? It's dry humor, right?
They call it dry
humor.
Yeah,
ain't nothing dry about it. That shit is hilarious. But
yeah, it's to
what is
me,
the connection?
It's just comedy you got to think about. I don't say dry. I say it's comedy that makes you think. So, for example, one of my favorite episodes, his dad needed a prescription, right? And the pharmacist, gives him a different recommendation than what the doctor gave him. So, he goes back to the doctor and say, yeah, I need you to change the prescription. And the doctor is hot. He like, why? He's like, well, the pharmacist. He fucking, he recommended this. And he's like, yeah, but I'm a doctor. And Larry was like, but he's a pharmacist. But I'm a doctor.
The fact that that's an
but
episode,
he's a
though.
Pharmacist.
He gets that off.
Pharmacist.
Yeah.
He said, doctor.
Yeah.
Pharmacist. And then the doctor goes, okay. Take your, he was hot. But then when you think about that scene, you're like, yo, I understand where that nigga's coming from. A pharmacist deals in medicine every single day.
Oh, I didn't even think about it on that level. Ooh.
Why wouldn't you take his...
See, that's
why I fuck with Larry David, because he thinks of shit like that.
You said that out loud?
Yes,
that
exactly.
But watch this connection. Deep waters dive. Watch this connection.
Come on, my nigga.
That is also, as a listener, what we enjoy about listening to your music.
Appreciate it, bro.
There's layers that we don't catch on to until the 15, 16. Yeah. I tell you, I listen to Ignorance is Bliss. I listen to Rigor Mortis, and I'm like, what possesses a man to just say, let's just make the bass go.
I feel that and it's a piggyback off of what you're saying right now. I feel that Larry David writes his episodes how I make beats.
Explain that. What is that?
So notice in a lot of his episodes, he has so much different shit going on, but it all comes
together. Yeah,
all of
a lot of side stories and whatnot.
Everything he has going on in the episode connects in the middle, bro.
Yeah.
And to me, that's what makes it so genius. Think about what you said. You just have these, but it all makes sense.
Yeah,
it always makes sense. It doesn't sound weird.
Yeah,
it's like, yo, that's weird, but it don't sound weird.
It all meshes.
And then with Larry David, it's like, well, Curb is kind of like, yo, how does this circumstance tie into this one?
Yeah.
Then there's a part later in the episode like, oh, that's how it ties in. And then to the main premise of the story, oh, that's how both of it ties into the...
And then he'll find a way to bring in something from the intro that ends up biting him in the ass in the outro, and the very reason he can't get the thing that he was looking for the entire episode. No, it's genius writing. It's like, bro, it's high level elite writing for sure.
Bro, he's out of here. With the writing, he's on another planet, bro.
Yeah.
And the thing is that, like, another one, the episode, The Christ Nail, where Cheryl's dad had bought this commemorative nail from Passion of the Christ.
Yep.
And Larry, being a Jewish guy on the show, he's questioning him like, oh, you think that's real? Right? So the end of the episode, the father had an affinity for that nail.
Yeah.
But his dad is Jewish, as in Larry's dad on the show is Jewish. So they had a mezuzah. I think it's, if I'm mispronouncing it. Yeah. Sorry to all the Jewish people, my Jewish folks out there.
Yeah.
It's called a mezuzah. I think a mezuzah.
I know you're talking about.
And they hang it on the door around I think it's around Christmas time if I'm not mistaken. And it's it's a sign of showing reverence or whatever. But he said how important it was for that to be put up on his doorstep so his dad won't come in tripping. And so Cheryl's dad was there, but he had the nail. His cleaning dude was supposed to put it up for him, but he got mad at him for some other shit that had to do with his wife, because he literally had to buy his wife a bra,
right?
Because Cheryl was mad because she wasn't wearing.
It's same episode.
Same episode. Exactly. So what happens is this nigga comes in the house, he sees that the mezuzah wasn't put up, and he's like, "Oh my god, my dad is coming over. The mezuzah's not put up. Where's the nails?"
And you think he's not gonna do it?
So
he's not gonna do it. He's not gonna do it.
To the dad's nail on it, because the dad is wearing the nail on like a necklace. So he zones into the nail, and while the dad is asleep, he takes the nail off
and
finds the hammer and fucking uses the nail to hang up the mezuzah. The dad wakes up. He's like, "Is that my nail? That's blasphemy." So then Cheryl and Susie's Jewish as well.
Yeah.
So she's Jewish. She comes down the stairs. She's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And then she was like, "Hey, Larry's using my nail." She's like, what nail? She's Jewish.
Oh.
So she's like, what, Nell? What the fuck is that about? That's stupid. Like so while he's complaining, she's like, what the fuck?
It's all these
like,
other layers going on. Yeah.
Boom, watch what happens. He hangs it up.
Yeah.
The dad comes to the door. Everybody's peaceful. Hi, Nat. Hi, hey.
Yeah.
Nobody's tripping.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, all of that.
There's a overarching story to it. There's an overarching theme, I should say, that makes. But see, and that I think if somebody can understand why that excites you so much, they can get a glimpse into what drives you when you're making and creating these.
I feel it's a disruptive perception to things. Like, people want to be comfortable in what they were taught already.
Yeah. And
not be comfortable in what's true.
That makes me think about the timing of what you do. We talked about that earlier. Certain, like I was talking about the 808s and the rigor mortis, but the timing that you exhibit in all of your beats, you'll bring an ad lib in the first verse that will never show up again throughout the entire verse. It'll be a mute, and it's like, but why there?
That's it.
But why now? You can't hear it nowhere else.
That's just where the feeling gave me to do it,
and it feels like that
to the point, Curtis, where if I didn't do it, I wouldn't have felt right listening to the beat.
See, and I think that's where somebody could get the best advice from you, is not necessarily always what they ask you, but if they follow the why and the things that you do, it makes so much more sense. Like, it's almost like the first time you watch your cousin playing a game and he runs through it, and you're like, I've been trying to beat that this whole month.
You know what I love about niggas? Difference. You know what I love about niggas like TDE and even like Cole?
Yeah.
They really understood my sound. They accepted it because they like unorthodox shit. They just like shit that's not normal.
You saying J. Cole had expressed that?
Oh yeah, he's definitely expressed that. Like, he told me one time, like, yo, like how you did the little, like, what it was tight about it, he said you did the little Dilla mute, and I was like, you knew.
And plus he made beats as well, so he can produce as well, yeah,
like, you knew, nigga, you knew. Yeah. And to me, because the energy was genuine in what I was doing, that's why he picked it up. I didn't have to tell him. He picked it up immediately because when I did it, that's who inspired me.
Yeah.
Whenever I did do that, that's where I got it from. Dilla used to do that shit. You feel what I'm saying? So, and I loved it, and I didn't do it to bite him. I did it because I thought it was dope.
Yeah.
And I thought it really added some kind of texture or some kind of quality to the record.
You know what I'm saying? The music sounds so much different. I think we can end on this note is that, and I love that you've been relaying this message since day one. Yeah. The music sounds different when it's driven by validation versus when it's driven by genuine passion, when it's driven by a genuine goal to scratch that itch that only you know how to get to, is a specific type of snare, whatever the case. Only you know that, and I think that's the bigger thing. But bro, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you coming all the way out here, Black. I appreciate you as well, man. This is your patience here. The fact that I don't remember the last time I seen you in person, but bro, it's like it's been years. Man. I'm and the fact that you here, I'm just like as much as you my brother, it's still surreal for me, bro. So the fact that this is
it's so funny, Curtis, but it just feels like any other time, bro.
It does, but it doesn't. You know why it doesn't for me? Because I've seen you at some of my lowest moments, and
as well,
you've never, and I'm not saying this is my highest moment. It might damn near be.
This is higher than what we've done.
I'm about to say, if I reference it, I'm like, I ain't never. Listen, but that being said, bro, like,
there's times niggas didn't have to hit niggas up. Like, oh man, let me hold something real quick. Nigga, kind of crazy out here.
Bro, PayPal. Hey, no, straight up. We didn't have to look out for each other with PayPal finicky ass. I think you was one of the first phone calls I made when I don't know if you remember that scammer that hit my PayPal account.
I remember.
And they were just leaking my shit for money, and I called PayPal, and they were like trying to verify shit while I'm literally watching my bank account get emptied out before rent. And it's like little app purchases. Boom, 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 boom. These on the PayPal updates the way they go, right? Boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, y'all got to speed this up.
Like they were doing it in real time.
Like I'm calling while the first one, I'm like, or maybe that's me. Maybe that's like Apple Music or something. That shit goes to 12. I'm like, all right, I got to call. I call them. I'm like, PayPal, this is my PayPal card. I need y'all to freeze this. Before we can do that, we must make sure that we verify. I'm like, while y'all are verifying, I already know how this is going to work. You're going to you're going to turn the faucet off too late, and then I got to wait 30 days to get that money back. Rent's due tomorrow. So, like, I remember hitting you up, like, bro, like, asking for advice or just trying to figure this situation out. But, I look at those times, man, with such a different lens because I recognize, like, even those times, bro, they make the present so much more sweeter. So much more sweeter.
And I appreciate every capacity you was there for me in them times, bro.
Come on now.
Like, this
Come
shit
on now.
is so
I wouldn't,
surreal.
And it's crazy because I wouldn't do it with everybody, bro, but I would do it with you because
here.
I looked at you, bro, like, I was like, and that's why I think it was so heavy on my heart to finally reach out to you and have that conversation because I was like, if I ain't square with nobody else in this industry that I've met through this industry, as a human being, this is one person I got to get it right with.
I feel the same way with you, Curtis, and that's why every time we link back up, it's just always there.
Yeah.
I just understand too that within your journey of, when God puts you on a journey and more so when you figure out what you're supposed to be doing,
right,
and within that alignment, you start to also recognize who's supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Even if they was already there, you even start seeing them differently.
That's a great point.
He's like, okay, you know what? Nah, you're really supposed to be here.
Yeah.
You're not just a homie. Like, you're the homie that we talked about certain shit, and that's not a coincidence. Like,
you working at Walmart and switching jobs at the same time with Daylight. Ain't no coincidence.
That was not a coincidence, bro.
Because when I think
I
about
used to ride the bus with his best friend every day in high school. That's not a coincidence, bro. His best friend went to my high school.
Yeah.
And it was when he was going home, bro. He was kicking it with Daylight. Yeah. Imagine that.
The degrees of separation.
That's nuts. I was going to work in Compton. He was going home to Watts.
Yeah.
But I would ride the bus every day with this nigga because he was hilarious. Like, so he'd be in the back of the bus clowning niggas, and we just be back there laughing, cracking jokes.
Yeah.
We both get off at the Watts Blue Line station.
Yes, sir.
I head up to Compton. He walking home. He walking home to Daylight.
See, something
you get what I mean? Like, that shit is crazy.
Something about that I feel like is also a lesson of life, and I want to get your last pieces of advice on this, and we'll end there. I feel like no matter what stage of life you're at, and especially when you're younger, you can't recognize this because this is your first journey, your first foray in all of this. But I feel like life always gives you hints of like the coming attractions, and it does it in such a slick ass way. Right. So you talked about these people that you came in contact with, that you met. None of that stuff is by chance. Right. Do you ever get the same feeling that's everything is ultimately leading you towards winning or leading you for your benefit as opposed to going against you?
I would definitely say it's definitely for the benefit. You know what I'm saying? When you come to a realization about certain things in your life, it's kind of like the Bible concept. Not a Bible concept, but there's a thing where it says, like, all things, whether good or bad, always, in the eyes of the Lord, works out for the, if it's in the Lord's will, it always works out for the good. Right. So you kind of got to see everything like that.
Sure.
If you're in a certain alignment, at the end of the day, God made the world. You don't have to believe in God, that's cool, whatever. But there's some kind of force that made this thing. I don't think this just combusted
by some chance.
I just don't think it happened. There's a certain way that this shit still maneuvers.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's something different moving this. You get what I'm saying? So
and you feel it when it's different, bro. You feel you can't deny it. Like, how many times are we going through this journey and we were like, is this the opportunity? Is this the time? And then it wasn't the time. And then it came back around, and it's like you still got a little bit of that same wet behind the ears energy. And then at some point, it's no fucking denial. There's no question. You know it's time. And not only do you know it's time, you're not even necessarily worried about being excited or unprepared. You're over-prepared for it.
That part.
I'm maneuvering a lot more like this now. And I feel like a lot of it has to do with the very thing that people look at as a weakness, which is age.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you speak so much on the fact that you feel like you're just getting better with time, and we all can hear it. We all can hear. We all see it with you as a human being.
Man.
But, bro.
But, like I said, that was inner work. And I feel like that's why y'all hear it now. Yeah. So it was a lot of, look, you see how I'm saying a lot of shit. I just realized that I don't matter a lot. Yeah. That's not putting myself down. It's just I don't matter. Like, I'm a speck of this world.
Yeah.
I'm a speck of this universe, bro.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I understand that it's like a pepper grain.
Mm-hmm.
That one pepper grain in a jar full of peppers
Mm-hmm.
is still very important. It don't matter if it's just that one grain.
Mm-hmm.
That one grain makes a difference in the spice of that food.
Yeah, that's a bar. That's a bar. Where can people find you at, bro, if they want to follow the movement, the Ichiban Don movement?
Ichiban Don, ICHIBANDON on Twitter, Instagram. I think that's practically the only two things I use. I started a TikTok, but I hate it, so I don't have no posts, no nothing.
Lot going on that shit, bro.
I'm good. 45 warned me about TikTok. Everything that he said is starting to come true, so I'm starting to listen to 45. Y'all can say I'm lying. I don't give a fuck what you talking about. That everything that nigga said happened. So if you don't like me after this, say I'm lying.
I wish.
Say I'm lying.
I wish all them gems that you didn't get, and I think this is the beautiful part about living right now. This is
make 45, 47.
This is. Look, this is the beauty of living now, is that you have the freedom to have the freedom to do that.
Yeah, I say what I feel. I don't, and that's the thing. If somebody feel different, that's cool.
You supposed to, but you
care.
ain't gotta push no campaign on nobody else. Yeah.
Like, I don't really give a fuck. But it's like,
and then would you rather love me for who you thought I was,
or who you think I should be for you,
or who you think I should be for you? That's nasty.
That's
nasty energy.
I don't want nobody to be somebody that I think they should be for me. That's corny.
You know how many people
you're not being yourself.
You know how many people say, Curtis, I never would have thought that you were the type of person. I was like, with that, you didn't know who the fuck I was. You obviously didn't know who I was, bro. Y'all done traveled a very long time to come out here. I appreciate you. I love you to death, bro, and I'm grateful for you. Thank you to everyone here who has showed up. Shout out to Chat, the T-Sketch, Fast Track West, Eclipse, Psychedelic Scientist, J-Flow Pro, Unique from Nine Doors, T. Lamont, Chris AK, all them good folks in here. I appreciate y'all for being here.
Shout out to all y'all.
This is the first episode of Music and Life in person, and of who better? What's a banger? Start off with a banger, though, in person. This room ain't never looked like this. They trying to figure out what room we in. We in the same studio we make beats in. They ain't never look like this. But that's what it is. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, much love to you. Y'all be safe.
Much love.
I look forward to having a DIY meeting tomorrow on my Patreon, patreon.com/Curtis King. Until then, we want to thank Willie B once again. Ichiban Don, thank you so much for coming on.
One more thing. Room full of mirrors. A room full of mirrors. We coming, baby. Shogun coming in March.
Hey, let's get it. Ladies and gentlemen, have a